What's up, everybody? Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Everybody is watching. Even if you're watching the Super Bowl, at least you're here listening in, hopefully. I greatly appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Hopefully, as the game kind of gets a little boring for everybody, hopefully more people start pouring in here, and we're gonna have a great show. We're gonna have a good time. We've got Amelia of Blue Ridge Pythons with us tonight. So, many people might not have heard about her, but she's up and coming, and I wanted to give her a little bit of a spotlight and let everybody else get to know her a little bit. So let's bring out Amelia. What's up, Amelia?
Not much. Just hanging out.
Are you sad you're missing the Super Bowl, or do you not really care?
Not really.
That's where I'm at. I'm not a big sports person. I'm just kind of like, meh. It's like after I went and set the date up, I'm like, wait, that's Super Bowl weekend. It's like,
yeah.
Oh well. It's like hopefully she doesn't care.
No. I'm in North Carolina. I'll watch the Panthers until they inevitably lose. When you're a Panthers fan, it's not the expectations are not high. Not even but you gotta root for the home team sometimes.
Yeah, I feel that. I guess I should probably have some remote pride with Philly, but meh.
Yeah.
They're all overpaid crybabies. I'm sorry, everybody. I said it. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, we've got a bunch of people in here so far. Excuse me. We've got Ken from LMK. What's up, Ken? Thanks for tuning in. John from Inquiline. What's up, John? Everybody, John was actually one of our first YouTube members. So if you want to know how to get some of those, that neat little icon beside his name there, go into the description of this video and there will be a link on how to become a member. Just click that. There's a couple different packages. Definitely feel free to check that out. We would love to have you be a member and join in some of the fun. It gives you some nice perks as well. And on top of that, while I'm doing a little spiel, I'm going to throw out, hold on here. That's not what I wanted to throw out. Hold on. Let me I don't know why it gave it that long of a coding. 1 second, everybody. This is how you know it's alive. Let me go do this and try not to make a whole bunch of noise with all the background sound. And here we go. If you're not using Husbandry Pro, everybody, and if you would, all right, it's still a long freaking thing. Anyway, there it is. If anybody would like to try out a free, holy crap. All right, that's not as long as I wanted. All right, hold on. I'm just going to do it the simple, easy way. I don't know why it's giving all that long freaking coding. Here, everybody, click this if you would like to have a free 30-day trial of Husbandry Pro. I promise you, once you start using it, you're not going to want to stop. It's an amazing way to keep track of all your records and just your whole collection. You won't regret it. Definitely check it out. And if you only use it for 30 days and you said, hey, I don't want it, whatever. Anyway, but John, thank you very much, dude, for all the support. It's great having you on with last night's members only live. Scooters, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Jason, what's up? Thanks for tuning in as well. Tammy, what's up? Thank you very much for tuning in. Anna, Flat Mountain Pythons. I think that's a new face in the chat. Thank you very much for coming out and supporting tonight. Greatly appreciate it. And Jim at Straight Blast, what's up, Jim? Thank you for tuning in. And Cartafago, thank you very much for tuning in as well. If you guys are watching the Super Bowl, just put that on the back burner. Just listen to here. I do want to thank our sponsors of this week's episode before we get to rolling here, because once we start rolling, it's kind of, I don't know, I hate pulling away. I want to thank our first sponsor, which is Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. If you guys are looking for ball pythons. He's working in some gecko stuff as well. Some chihuahuas, I think is how you say it. I don't know. Some really cool gecko that's kind of like a cresty, but it's not a cresty.
It's the giant.
And also, what's that?
I like the giant cresties. They look like cresties. They're bigger.
I think these things look like I can't think of what they're the lychees. They're kind of like lychees almost, I think. But he's raising some of those up. He's also working some corn snake stuff. So definitely check him out. Also, if you have any branding needs, check Nathan out. He is a great person as far as branding wise as well. He's working some killer projects. So keep an eye on Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. Everybody's information is in the description down below, folks. So definitely go check them out. And then we've also got my buddy Chris at S Reptilia, which, you know what? Tonight we're going to play this one.
And this episode is sponsored by S Reptilia. S Reptilia, folks, let me tell you, is a one-stop shop for basically whatever you may need. If you're looking for ball pythons, Chris has it. He's working in so many different projects, and he's got amazing quality animals. He's also got blood pythons, gorgeous, gorgeous blood pythons. He's also working with different types of colubras, like Mexican black king snakes, bull snakes, pine snakes even. He's working a couple different boa projects, Australian species even, like Woma pythons and scrub pythons. He's got it all, folks. S Reptilia is one place you want to go to if you need a snake. And on top of it, he also supplies Eastern PA with different types of rodents like rats, ASFs. He's got it all. If you need cocoa, he is Pennsylvania's distributor of Cocoa to Go and the Chipper. So definitely do not miss out on what I consider by far the best cocoa substrate on the market. Chris sells it. Go to him. He is our distributor. And make sure you tell him Jeremy sent you from Morphles Morphs, because you might just get a little bit of a surprise if you tell him that. Thank you, Chris, for sponsoring this episode. I greatly appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, Chris. I really do appreciate it, bro. And Nathan as well. It's always a pleasure to be working with you guys. And thank you so much for sponsoring the channel as well. And also, like I said about Husbandry Pro, there you go, everybody. Scan that QR code or use that link that I dropped just a moment ago. Here, I'll drop it one more time for your 30-day trial. And give it a shot. See what you think. Anyway, there we go. All right. Now we'll get into the good stuff. Amelia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am from North Carolina, middle of nowhere. Hi here. So I've been out here in the boonies, and I am a music teacher, elementary music teacher. And a few years ago, I was teaching summer school, and they had one of those reptile shows come for the kids, and I was like, I'm an adult now. I could own a snake. And now here we are, like 3 years later, and there's probably, I think I counted about 45 today.
Oh,
including
nice.
all the babies, all the for sale babies. There's about 35, I think, adults and holdbacks. So
Okay.
that grew exponentially real quick.
Yeah, that they kind of tend to like not only populate themselves, but it's kind of like an addiction. You go to a reptile show, you feel like you gotta bring something back with you.
Yes. That's why I haven't been to one in forever. I'm like, nope, I cannot go. I will buy something. And they're not near me. I have to drive at least about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to one. I'm like, I'm going to drive this far. I'm going to buy something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you're driving that far, yeah. See, I'm kind of at a bad spot for me because everything is almost within an hour, roughly, of some really good shows. So, like, I'm in, like, the middle of, like, danger zone territory.
The supervisor making an appearance here.
He blended in there. I was staying in the back of your chair. I'm like, wait a minute, that's moving. Jim says it's a 100% an addiction. It is, dude. It is.
But yeah, this is the supervisor.
That's a pretty kitty.
His name is Elvis.
I like it.
So he's a foster fail.
Oh, okay.
the various members of the menagerie may make an appearance because the snake room door is open. So there's 4 cats and a very large dog. I don't think she's quite tall enough to make it on the camera, but she could. So
What kind of dog?
she's a Shiloh Shepherd.
Oh, okay.
Come here, giant blue. Nope. Hey, you want to be pretty? Oh, Jesus.
A big fluff ball.
Yes. So if you buy a snake from me, you will probably also get dog hair on the snake bag because it is inevitable.
It's like a nice little bonus.
Yeah.
See, that's like, other than snakes, I have nothing. Like, absolutely nothing else other than snakes. Kids, which kids can sometimes be considered animals. As you very well know.
I've had more children growl at me than animals lately, I think.
I believe that Hadley was growling at me today, and I have no idea why. It's just
Like, why?
staring at me growling. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
not sure where we picked this one up, but what are you gonna do? The kids will be kids.
Yeah.
So what made you decide for after this reptile show? Obviously you got your first snake and it kind of started growing on you, but what made you decide to take it from just a keeping aspect into the breeding aspect?
I think it was watching YouTubers, especially Billy Mutation Creation, just watching him do the egg cuttings and the clutch reveals and all the different things, and just watched him, watched Justin, watched Miguel, like all the big dogs, and then even got more into the smaller folks around who were just getting started or had been doing it on a smaller scale. And I was like, I want to do that. Just seeing the different combinations and going on Morph Market and saying, wait a minute, you can make this with the first one I fell in love with was the Batman. Because as you look at a spot nose, especially hets, a spot nose het clown and a leopard het clown look nothing like.
Yep.
Really, you would not think in my mind that a Batman would come from that, but it does. And I was like, ooh. And also, I was like, I can't afford a $3,000 snake at the time, but I can afford a couple of.
I can afford the ingredients, exactly.
The ingredients, and then I can do it. And now here I am with way more than $2,000 or $3,000 poured into this, and I have yet to make a Batman.
Well, do you have a clutch at all that you can at least possibly produce one?
I was hoping
this year.
I was hoping this year because I had a leopard het clown and a spot nose clown being bred to her, but she is a horrible eater.
Okay.
And so I started pairing her when she got to about 1,500 grams and almost immediately stopped eating. So I'm like, why? And I've moved her to different size tubs and I've put hides in, and I finally got her in these new racks with the solid colored tubs this week, and she ate like that. So I'm really hoping it's going to turn her around. But all the other females I started pairing about the same time and about the same weight are now over 2,000, and she's still floating around 1,550. So I've stopped pairing her for the moment, just till I can get her eating steadily. And I'd rather have a healthy female than.
Yeah, no, I know. It was my killer bee girl, our first season. She was right around that, like that 1,500 gram mark, and basically the same thing as she was a decent eater, but once I started pairing her, she went off food right away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she didn't start losing any size. She just, for what I then now realize that when I started pairing her, she must have been at that size follicle wise, that she, in her mind, she was doing all right. It's either food or follicles, and she picked the follicles over the food.
Yeah.
because she went and gave me a really nice clutch for her first year and for being, at 1,500 grams. And then she even, after she laid, she went back on food right away, gave me another clutch last year. And now this year, I think she's actually taken the year off because no matter what male I throw in there, she just wants nothing to do with them. And she's just eating like normal. And it's even with the ultrasound, like I can see follicles on her, but it's just like she's not acting how she's done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, man, I think she's not going to go this year for me.
Yeah. I wish I had an ultrasound. It's on the
I'm not going to lie. I never thought I would have one, but now that I have one, it's like, it's such a freaking game changer.
Mm-hmm.
It has saved my butt countless times already. It stopped me. Like I went through an ultrasound, some of the experimental pairings I was doing, testing out King Austin's theory about if they hit that 1,200 gram, throw a male in and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
There was 1, 2. I guess there's only 2 girls I was doing that with. Yeah, 2. And I went and they would lock, but that was about it. Like they kept eating for the most part. I ultrasounded them, and they have no follicular development at all. So it's like, you know what? We're just, I'm not going to waste the males on them. Just give the males a break from them. Let them focus on the other girls that they need to go to. So it saved me on that aspect. And then I had my whole carpet python ordeal, which that really saved my butt because I ultrasounded the one female, which actually is a female, unlike the female that ended up being a male. And so that she was at 17 mil follicles. So obviously I went and flip-flopped who was getting paired to who real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'll try to give you guys a close-up here. Let me figure this out here. All right. That is who was Xena, which is now Xander. But the darker colored snake in there is the female carpet. Now she's been underneath that cave like the past couple of days, and he's just been attached to that cave all day today with his tail underneath there, but I can't see if they're locked up or not. But I'm going by the fact that he hasn't moved from that spot all day. So there's a reason. The carpets don't just sit there in one spot all day long for the fun of it. So hopefully that there keeps going and we get a carpet clutch out of that.
Yes. That'd be cool.
What? All right. So like you were saying, the Billy and stuff was kind of like the foot in the door there for getting you to want to do it. Was there anything else that kind of sparked it, or was that basically Billy and just watching YouTube and that type of stuff?
It really was a lot of just YouTube, and I've been to some of the shows, and the folks there the breeders there were super nice about just saying, hey, you don't have to do this big. You can get just a few and see how you like. Of course, I didn't follow that advice, obviously. Go big or go home.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I'm right there with you on that one.
But they were really helpful, and then joining. I've joined a couple of the Patreons and gotten involved with the Discord communities and stuff.
Okay.
Facebook groups, and just all of that, and interacting with people has been.
Whose Patreon did you get on to, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm on Mutation Creations.
Okay.
I was on Canova's. I don't pay them anymore, but they haven't kicked me off the Discord.
He's just too busy with Clutch. It's okay.
I was like, on one hand, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the atmosphere. It was like, oh, you could get you get first dibs on these snakes. I'm like, I'm not at the point yet where I need that level of a snake in my collection or can afford that. So I just didn't feel like I was getting quite as much out of that one. I'm still on Always Evolving.
Okay.
And Royal Canadian there, because for those two, anything that you pay into the Patreon, they will let you use toward the future purchase at Snake.
Okay, yeah, they kind of do. Miguel kind of does like how Bob Vu has his set up as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, this is just the world's longest payment plan ever, basically. It's kind of how I look at those.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's nice because I was on Billy's, and I love Billy. I can't say anything bad about Billy at all. But the tier that I was on, I kind of got like I was on the that was the $25 tier, whichever one that was. I kind of like I was running a lot of time restraints, so I wasn't able to make all the Q&As and all that stuff. You know, the stuff where I was pulling information from, and a lot of it seemed like it's getting a little bit repetitive. And with everybody that I've surrounded myself with, you know, it kind of got me at the point. It's like I'm spending $25 a month, and I'm basically just, you know, giving it to Billy, which whatever. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I'm trying to save up for an ultrasound. It's like instead of giving Billy $25, I could be putting $25 a month towards my ultrasound. So that's kind of my drive behind canceling my membership with Billy's Patreon. Like it sucked that I did it. I do plan probably on at some point redoing it and getting into the higher tier, but I'm gonna wait until like it's justifiable to be spending that 50 or $100 a month or whatever it is for some of that higher stuff. Like when my collection's a lot bigger, and you know it will support paying for that without any doubts.
Yeah. And then the last I'm on is on Olympus Reptiles.
Oh, okay, Matt.
Yeah, on Matt's. And I love the Discord on there. I have gotten so much info out of being part of that Discord and different breeders. That was like with the first year breeding, that group really got me through some rough stuff in my first year breeding. So it's a really good group on there.
I would love to get Matt to come on here just because I've watched so much of his videos, and he's helped inspire me to an extent with a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
But he's a hard man to get a hold of. I sent him Instagram, Facebook. I even, you know, commented on his, you know, I always comment on his videos that I watch. But I told him, you know, hey, I left you some comments, or I sent you some messages, you know, hit me up once you read them. And he goes, say, oh, well, all those platforms are kind of like junk mailboxes that like I'm never going to, you know, find it. So if you talk to him, Amelia, tell him to message me.
Like even on Discord, he is not super active on there. It's it's like just go there. I know. I think he's just doing all kinds of stuff. I don't know.
Okay. Because I thought like the Xanthic stuff obviously would be the big thing I'd want to talk to him with. The spider stuff. Him and I have a lot of stuff that we were working with and we're passionate about and very much in common. And I just thought it'd be a great live. And I could just never get a hold of him.
Yeah. I wonder if Anna's still in the chat. Anna from Flat Mountain Pythons. Okay. She is here from that Discord, and she might can help out. Anna, shoot Matt a message.
Send Matt a message. Tell him to message Warfels Morse, please. I would love to have him on here. He's on my list. I just can't reach the man. And like, you know, I'll let him comment on his videos. It seems like a month later he might respond to the comment. It's like, ugh. But anyway, Jim here says agree to about Matt's Discord. I'm in there too, and it's amazing. All right, Jim, you too. Hit Matt up. Get him here. Yeah, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, and everybody's probably wanted to drink and eat hot wings, all that stuff. So thank you so much for, you know, tuning in with us tonight. I really appreciate it. With the God, all right, I just drew a freaking blank. Not the Discords. Oh my, the Patreons. I don't know why. Like complete flatline brain thought. There's like anyway. What are some of the things that you've gotten that you've pulled from those that you think were most helpful to you?
Oh goodness. For me, it's mainly been being part of those discords. So I've made several snake purchases through through some of the discords, and I don't know if you watched any of the drama that was I feel not really drama, but just the craziness that was my first year breeding. I had some snakes have some health problems.
I remember you were having some issues, but I don't think I ever got to hear or.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I don't remember any specifics. I remember you did have some issues because you were so active there for a while in all the chats that I was in, and then you just kind of like poof.
It was so much.
Which was another reason. Like I saw you post something on Instagram, like there she is. We're finding out what's going on.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If it hadn't been for a lot of the support that I got through the various discords and talking to people and even Facebook groups and connections I had made, I don't know if I would still be trying to do this, because out of my first year breeding, I had 5 clutches, and out of those 5 clutches, one, the female got egg bound, died, eggs didn't make it at all.
I think I do remember you talking about that one. I think I do remember that.
Second clutch ever, and I was constantly in different discords and sending pictures and Instagram, like, what do I do? What do I do? Because I was just, my first clutch went perfectly, no issues, all healthy eggs, healthy mom, healthy babies, and then that one happened, and it was just complete
flip-flop disaster.
Complete disaster. And even in those different groups, I was getting mixed opinions on stuff. But in a way that helped, because nobody had all the answers. So I didn't feel the pressure to have all the answers. And then third clutch, babies and eggs were fine. Mom never went back on food. And for some reason, the mom died 3 weeks after she laid. And I still have no clue why.
I've heard of weird things. I've heard more, not necessarily females doing that, but I've heard of males after they've bred, and basically their job had been done, that they just kicked off, like just threw in the towel, I'm done, and that was it. Like out of the blue, no reason, completely healthy. Just one day the people opened up the tub and they were gone. So it doesn't surprise me with the female, but at the same token, it does. There wasn't any possibility that she still had an egg in her. Or anything,
I checked her. I don't think so. Because I felt of her, I didn't feel anything still retained in her, but I really have no idea, what happened with her. I wondered if she may have been older than they told me when she was sold to me. I don't know. But so she did that, and then in the final clutch, the mom laid 5 eggs and had 2 retained in her egg bound again. And that was the second snake I ever bought. And I bought her as a baby. She's the one I've had the longest, that I still have, that I've had the longest. So if something had happened to that snake, it would have just broken me. And so I actually had Mark, who's on the Olympus Discord, who actually designed my GD Rex that I got. He FaceTimed me and talked me through sort of getting, actually with the first female, getting an egg out of her, trying to help her get those eggs. And so then when the second one, I knew what to do, because somebody who, doesn't have their own Patreon, but they're part of it and they're part of this community, and just being able to reach out to people with more experience to go, okay, what am I doing? Let me FaceTime you and you talk me through how to do this, so that I don't lose another snake. And
Now, if you don't mind, do you mind sharing how you went about doing that whole process? I mean, I've never had to go through it.
Okay.
But since you've got firsthand experience, and maybe someone down the line watching this live, maybe they run into this issue that you had, and maybe you can pass on this knowledge, and it will help them.
Hold on. I'm gonna show you this girl because I am.
All right.
If I'm telling you this story, you gotta see how good she looks at this point. I am. I'm a big mama peanut shed.
Locked and loaded ball pythons. Frank, thank you very much for tuning in. You are a new face, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Chip, what is up, Chip? Good to see you, brother. Holy but Jesus, that's a big girl. All right, home. We're gonna put you up on the big screen here.
Yes.
Is she nice? Beautiful looking.
Look at how big. Look, like she is back to being very healthy. I am thrilled. So she's a Peter Mojave.
Okay.
And again, like my second snake that I ever got, she could fit in the palm of my hand when I got her. And so she laid 5 eggs and retained 2. And I could very clearly, okay, let me go.
I was just she's doing the bracelet thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it when they do that.
I could see very clearly the 2 big lumps in her, but they were not anywhere. They were not near her tail at the time. They were. It's funny because I know where they were because she has these 2 heart-shaped markings right here.
Oh, okay.
That is where the eggs were, and of course her cloaca way down there. So they were about 5 or 6
they were up in there
inches
still
away.
then.
And so, okay, hi. So after the first female that I did take that lavender female to the vet, and they ended up surgically removing those eggs, and she didn't make it.
Okay.
From the anesthesia. So after that experience, I said, you know what, I'm not taking her to the vet because I know that there's not a good chance she's going to make it from the anesthesia anyway. So she's either going to get these eggs out naturally or she's just going to pass away. That was basically my mentality about it. And she had those eggs inside of her for 2 months. She did not.
Wow.
Yeah. She did not eat, and I would get her out every few days, and I would basically hold her suspended and massage just downward and try to coax them further towards her cloaca. And finally, about the time I was cutting her clutch, they really moved down. And so what I did, I gloved up and got a bunch of lube. Like, let's just talk about, we're on the gross stuff. And got one hand, got above the egg and squeezed it until it was right at her cloaca, and then just like went in.
Okay.
Until I could feel that egg, and the leathery texture of the eggs, I could get like a pinch on it, and basically between pushing with applying pressure with one hand and trying to pinch and pull with the other hand, eventually it came free.
Okay.
And was able to do that for both eggs once they got down close to her cloaca. And she was surprisingly chill for the entire process. She is one of my most friendly snakes, which I think helped, but I don't know how much they know about us helping. I think at this point she was just so ready to have those eggs
she
out.
probably was just that uncomfortable. She's just like...
She's like, I don't really care what you're messing with at this point.
Yeah,
just
get it out. Dang it.
And then, I don't know how recommended this is, but I still had some antibiotic shots that had not expired from the first snake that had issues.
Okay.
So I gave her an antibiotic injection that I still had, and she shed about a week or 2 weeks later, and then went right back on food.
I can't imagine that giving her the antibiotic shot hurt anything. I mean,
Yeah, probably not the most recommended thing, but yeah, that was my logic was it. I don't know what it could hurt at this
Yeah.
point. At this point, she isn't. She's still alive from the.
I say obviously, yeah. Obviously everything worked out. It was fine. Now, were the eggs? Because I've heard about, especially with them being in there for that amount of time. Were the eggs? I've heard like the eggs get kind of like a really gnarly texture, like a sandpapery, as they're starting to try to adhere. And
I was amazed. I think that was a blessing. They did not adhere,
okay.
but the insides were solid. It was like a hard-boiled egg on the inside.
Oh wow!
I am just curious enough to guess. I cut those open.
I was just, I was asked, I was thinking it. I'm like, I don't want to say,
Yep. It became a science experiment for a bit, and cut those open, and you could see where, like, there was a little red spot. I'm so sorry. Where the embryo had been,
okay.
but it was just hard-boiled egg, basically, what it looked like.
That's so weird.
So yeah, but all 5 of her other babies were just fine.
Nice.
I don't think I will ever breed her again.
That was gonna be my next question. Is like, I was gonna ask, are you planning on breeding her again, or is that we're not gonna risk another bad situation?
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it with this girl, especially just with her being. Hey, let me go. the one of my babies, one of my first ones. She will stay here forever.
I've got a few of those.
Yeah, I got a couple of those that it's like, yeah, you get to be a pet now.
Yeah. I'm hoping mine, to keep breeding them, as they will, but I don't think they'll ever, even when the collection gets up to where they're totally obsolete as far as genetic wise, either I'll just keep using them to make just really pretty stuff, or they'll just become pets. Just because I love them. After, let's see, this is our 3rd season breeding. So you figure 3, 4, at least 5 years of having them here with us. It's like, they've earned their spot to stay.
Yep.
Now, she's beautiful. I love how pewters turn out. Like, I've made several pewters, and they're just beautiful.
She is. She was almost purple, like had a purplish tint to her.
Okay.
I got her as a baby, and she's just like, she'll literally stick her head out of her tub and just put it in my hand and let me just touch her. She's a big sweetheart.
Snakes definitely have their own personalities.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, my killer bee girl, she's got this obsession with hair. She'll take her chin and rub it like on my arm hair, or she'll just go to, like, do basically lapped around my neck, and it's really amazing massage. But like, she's got like this really quirkiness to her, and it's like it's just funny. Like, I know people will probably say I'm crazy for thinking the snake has a personality, but to me, that's about as personality as what a snake can get.
Yep. All right, you ready to go back in your tub?
Chip says she's beautiful. T&J Reptiles, thank you for tuning in. You're a new face as well, so thank you very much, T&J, for tuning in. They say, I definitely have some I will never get rid of either. I think that's how just about everybody has that couple snakes, no matter what, they won't leave.
Yep.
Jason says, I'm excited to see what our pair may produce. I will need help with identifying them. Dude, I will help you out, Jason. Just send me a message. Hopefully what you're working with is something I know what I'm looking at. Yeah, Chip, you're right. She is very, very chill.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I got my list of questions here. What are some of your goals as a breeder, Amelia? that you want to hit. You know, it doesn't even have to be like right away goals. It could be 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road. Where do you want to see yourself go from here on into the future?
One of my dream animals is still to make that Batman eventually. And I'd like to do more like double recessive stuff. Is what I'm wanting to do. So I've got some of the Grail stuff.
Oh, where's Phil at? Phil.
I know, where's Phil?
She's bringing your Phil out of here, dude. That's up Phil's alley there.
So most of my stuff is clown at this point, or head clown, and then I've got a few lavenders. Right now, I've got a leopard clown het lavender girl that's being bred to a lavender male. I had her going. I was trying to fit her with a clown het lavender because then I would get all visual clowns, and if anything was lavender, it's definitely going to be a Grail, and she would have absolutely nothing to do with him. Like, do not touch me. Would not. They were opposite ends of the tub like a middle school dance.
I've got a pair like that. It's my yellow bee my bumblebee yellow belly, and I had her going to my NG asphalt / yellow belly. I did that genetic testing on it, and it came back negative for asphalt. Well, just about everybody I told that to said I was full of crap because of how this thing looks. So, and with the issues they were having with the genetic testings, because they pulled the test for asphalt like right at that time, right before I got my results back. So it left me in a sphere of doubt that this thing is correct. And of course, obviously I want to prove him out with her. Well, she won't let him lock. She won't let anybody lock. Like, I did throw in my Puma male because he was acting like he just needed to, release some stress there a little bit because he was getting wild when I'd go to handle him. Like, he'd flail all over the place. It's like a rodeo. And she wouldn't even let him do anything. It's just like, okay, it's like, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. And I don't know that it was a female. I think she intimidated the males because every time I would put the male in with her, she would tail wag. She was going absolutely crazy. I think the males would just hide in the corner like, oh God, she's gonna.
That's possible.
What's she doing? So at least the lavender male has so at least I'll get hopefully some lavender head clowns and some leopard in there too. So that's gonna be good. But I want to get some more of those. I want to get some hypo and Izantic with I know.
Well, what line? What line? What line? Are we talking TSK, Amelia?
Probably. I don't know.
Because if you want to, we'll talk later.
Okay. Because I want to get, like, I know I have my favorite combos of clown. Like, I love the Batman. I'm working towards GHI Mojave clowns at some point. So I'm getting an army of Mojave clown or Mojave head clowns built with my Mojave clown boy right now. Okay. And I'm going to get a GHI clown and start doing that. I love that combo. But then I want to get that into other visual recessives in with that, so the color changing recessives on top of just those, take my favorite combos and then make them different colors.
No, I think that's a good plan with those, especially like the GHI Mojave and hypo stuff. Just that's perfect. T&J says last year they had a first time male, didn't know what he was doing, and my girl showed him what to do. See. Sometimes they're helpful like that. Other times they're like, hey, if you don't know what you're doing with it, I don't want none. That's what I thought was going to be going on here with the carpets because they cuddled up like is like a ball of just black and yellow. Like you couldn't figure out who was where, except you just saw two heads. And you can see two tails, but they were at the opposite ends of one another. It's just like, no, you guys got it all wrong. Tails are supposed to be close.
That's what I put when I put my spot nose clown boy in with it's a pastel inchy clown. I put them in for the first time, and he kept trying. Like his tail, I'd look in for like 2 days. Every time I'd look in, his tail was up at her head. I was like, "Sir, that is not that is not what you are here for. That is not."
That is the wrong end, man.
He finally got it figured out. Now he's going to three. Can I count? I think.
Oh, okay.
At least two females, because stop pairing him to that leopard. But he's figured it out now. He's taking care of business.
I've got two. One, two. I've got three actually, technically. Three males that as soon as you stick them in there, I mean, they don't hesitate. They go right for and religiously, like after 2 hours of being in there, if you pull the tubs open, they've got them locked up already. It's like, you guys go.
Yep. So good guess.
What are some of your other goals? I mean, the double recessive stuff. Do you have your LLC done or anything? Are you kind of floating under the radar? How you want to go with that?
I went ahead and did an LLC.
Okay.
Because I wanted to try and be above board and legit. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that whole, you have to make a profit like a certain number of years, because that hadn't happened, obviously.
Well, you've got 3 years, right?
I think so. I think you got
it's like 3 years. Because this year I'm getting my LLC. I talked to my tax guy and everything already. Last season, I technically would have been profitable had I not gone and bought the ultrasound.
Yeah.
I would have had a little bit of profit, not much, but a little. So this year, I mean, I'm looking to reinvest. Obviously, I'm getting the carpets, new enclosures, some more racking space. So this year, I'm going to try to make it break even. But for the next year with the LLC, I guess it would be year 2 with my LLC. I want to definitely try to bring in a profit, even remote, but something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that done and with an attorney, and that was interesting.
How much did it cost you to go through that whole process? Because my guy's kind of very fuzzy. He doesn't know what. I guess there's different brackets of LLCs and stuff. So,
I think when I did mine, I think he charged me like between $200 and $300. It was part of my whole family went and did estate planning.
Okay.
Through this attorney, and while I was going, I said, "Hey, can you just tag on filing an LLC for me?" So it was just part of a package. So I don't remember exactly how much he charged for that. The one thing that's kind of threw me for a loop is that each year, and this is coming up soon, in North Carolina, you have to pay the state to. I think it was like $200 and something just to continue to be an LLC.
I think Pennsylvania's got something like that too. It's like a yearly or something fee. Yeah.
Why?
But I think for here, I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. Like I said, I mean, I obviously still don't have mine, but I don't think it's a huge fee. But nonetheless, it's they want their money.
Exactly.
Gotta love Uncle Sam.
Yeah. And I will say it did help me last year to be able to get a tax refund when I could say I have not made any money on this LLC, because it's still in the building phase at that point. This year, at least I can say I have sold some things. So,
well, see, that's good. And that's another thing we'll get into as well, like here down through the list of stuff. Um, do you have any other goals you want to touch on, or?
I don't have goals. I want a rat shed.
I would give you props for even wanting to tackle that.
Oh,
Like,
no.
I've got a shed that everybody says I need to turn into a rat shed. It's like, no, I don't want to deal with that. It's like I'll pay I think I paid $2 for a medium rat. I'll take paying the $2.
Oh no, I'm already breeding them, and they are currently in my guest bathroom.
Okay.
So, I needed space for the rats with a vent more than I needed a guest bathroom at the time.
Well, I mean, you still got the main bathroom, so
Exactly.
you just got to tell everybody, don't go into that other bathroom.
Yeah, you can't get into that one because there's 2 rat racks in it, and they just so that's what that is. But that is probably the most labor consuming part of this entire thing is
I bet.
breeding the rats. I'm breeding, and I'm doing ASFs with like one colony of mice, and yeah, that's definitely the most time consuming and work consuming part. But
several people have told me it's not that bad. I've had other people say it takes a crap load of time. It's just kind of like, you know what? I just like, that's one reason why I don't want to even have to deal with it. Plus, I've got YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It takes up what time technically the rats would probably take up, and then the kids, and it's just better just to,
I'm like, if people can afford to just, if they have a good source that they can get their feeders from and it's reasonably priced, then go for it. But yeah.
What's up, Chan?
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
But for me, I don't think if I had started breeding them, I started breeding them about a little over a year ago. And if I hadn't done that, I don't think I could still sustain it because I would probably, with where I was having to drive 45 minutes to the pet store, there weren't any.
That right there is the big thing. You said it, pet store.
Yep. And
that's the killer. Okay.
There were not any local breeders that I could find that were breeding them, and so then it was like $4 a rat, and so so looking at that, it's like $300 a month versus now it's less than $100 a month for the food and the bedding and everything that I do to breed them. And with just that drive, I complain about it, partially because I have ADD, so motivating myself to actually clean the rodents probably takes longer for me to motivate myself to get up off the couch and do it than it actually does to get it done.
Gotcha.
Plus, ASFs jump.
They're cute little suckers. I gotta give them that. They're cute little suckers.
They are very cute, but they are not tame. Like I kind of feel okay feeding them off more than I would regular rats, because regular rats can be really nice. And they're really sweet. And you're like, oh, look, you're so nice. These suckers will bite you if you look at them wrong. So I'm like, all right, in you go. You are food. I have no guilt. And
I don't feel bad about this at all, no matter how cute and fluffy you are.
Exactly. But they jump out, especially the little ones, and that's why there's 4 cats in this house.
Well, here's a funny ha-ha. All right, I've got the snake room here, okay? A couple weeks ago, I thought I heard this, like, crawling, because, like, the room itself the walls are 6 inches thick of foam insulation and then the fiberglass insulation. And then the ceiling's got 1-inch foam across the top of it, and then I've got my drop ceiling. Well, I swear I heard something crawling on the foam insulation over on the one side of the wall, which would technically be underneath the kitchen sink, in that area. And then, because a couple months ago, my wife screamed while we were in the living room. She goes, "There's a mouse." And I'm like, "We've got freaking snakes. What mouse is in their right mind going to come into this house?" And sure as crap, there was a mouse in the kitchen. And I tried to kill him, but the sucker got outside, out through the door that I had opened up to hopefully, he would go out. Um, and he escaped. I never did get it. I never did get to kill him. And needless to say, I heard this noise, about a month later, and I'm like, that sounds like a freaking mouse. So I pulled down my drop ceiling, moved the tile for my drop ceiling, pulled down a section of the foam, stuck my iPhone up there with the light shining around and like recording what I'm looking at. And sure enough, there's two little spots where there was a mouse freaking sitting there going to the bathroom. Like you could see it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sucker, how did he find his way back in? And I put 2 traps there, and I have yet to hear anything ever again from him. So hopefully he's gone. But yeah, I would in that instance, and like we have cats all over the outside of the house from neighbors. So I don't know how there's even a mouse around. But needless to say, those cats aren't doing their job.
Yeah.
Jason says, I'm all ears about LLC. You should do a podcast on it. I need to think about. Jason, that's an idea. I have no problem doing that. I'll probably get like Nathan, and as crazy of a thought as it is, and I'll probably regret saying this, haha, Danny, but like get Danny and Nathan on here to talk about it, because Danny's a big pusher on it as well for the LLC stuff. But those 2 guys have great business minds. So I'll talk to them and I'll see if I can't work something out to get them to come on and we can talk LLC stuff. So that's a good topic. I'll actually make a note. Let me get a I got it. Like I have different notepads where I write different notes on. I gotta find my right pad so that way I don't lose what I'm. Here we go. No, that's a good idea, Jason. I'll get on that and I'll try to book those guys to come on. Channel, it says, I support breeding rodents, so hog more snake babies. Please find a good line of ASF. I got lucky. My ASFs are tame.
They're not bad. I don't necessarily blame them that when I'm reaching in to take their babies to go feed them to something, they're gonna bite me. What you gonna do?
That's like I always have people ask me, well, does it hurt to get bit by a snake? And like, they've been people that have like they own rodents or dogs, cats. It's like I would much rather get bit by this snake than anything that you've got over there. It's like I can read this sucker no problem. That fuzzy thing I can't read.
Hello.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, so at the pet shop it's $4. I can see that because here, like I have to go to the pet shop just because I don't feel like bugging my rat guy that I get my frozen thawed stuff from like every 2 weeks and driving 20 minutes when I can just drive 10 minutes and go to the local pet shop and get my 3 live rats I got to feed to my live feeders only, which is annoying as all sin, but then roughly it's still about like $4 or so per rat. Hopefully they're my chocolates that are triple hets and my normal it's triple het. So hopefully it's worthwhile and they pay me back for all the rats that they're sucking up.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I go there every time and I come out, it's like what? I'm just gonna say I'll round up and say it's $15 a visit. And I'm there like I could have bought double the amount of frozen thawed rats as what it's taking to feed just these 3. It's So I can see why you'd want to do it, especially since you don't have any breeders close by, which actually boggles my mind.
Yeah. Like the closest would be, will you stop? He is the nosiest cat, I swear. But Yeah, the closest would be that I could find in like some groups online. The closest person was like about 35 minutes away.
Okay.
Which wasn't horrible. It was just, I mean, everything it's time consuming, and I like knowing, and especially when it came time to have hatchlings. Trying most of the people, like that same person that was close by, he also had hatchlings, and he was going to feed his snakes, out of his supply before he was going to sell any excess. And so trying to get hatchlings established, and not having access to a steady source all the time was a pain. And that was just in the first year, the first clutch that I had with just 7 babies. So I knew if it was going to continue to grow, and planning on having more hatchlings at a time, I was going to need at least a steady stream of babies. And I would like to eventually breed, it's got to be out of my house, because when I use regular rats, even if it's frozen thawed, I have allergic reactions.
Oh,
and
okay.
Oddly enough, the ASFs do not bother my allergies. They do not seem to bother it at all, beyond just the dust that they create. Whereas when I was doing regular rats, even doing frozen thawed, if I touched the rat and forgot and like touched my face, my eyes would swell up. I'd get congested.
Oh, wow.
So bad. So yeah, I know a lot of people have issues with, they think they'll get hooked on ASFs, and but most of mine hatchlings I've switched over. I'll alternate now that I have some mice. I'll alternate the ASFs and the mice, and
she's just screwing with you at this point.
Sir, what are you doing?
Oh, cats being cats.
I love that cat so much.
The tails.
Yeah, he's just ridiculous. He's always in here. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And you
Main Squeeze says pet owners can deal with pet stores for rodents, hobbyists, and above. It's better to breed your own if you can. Go broke otherwise.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a rat supplier that does treat you pretty darn good, and like I can't, for the amount of time, I look at it this way: time is money. Is it a better use of my time to be doing something else, like focusing on the YouTube channel, or family-wise stuff as well, and just pay that, couple cents extra, maybe more per rat, as opposed to breeding, doing it myself? To me, it's a pretty good trade-off. But now, if you got somebody that's giving you not so great pricing, then there's the issue where I could see that argument Main Squeeze.
Yeah, and if you're having to drive the same amount of time that it would take you to just clean and maintain the roads anyway, it's not even necessarily a time exchange.
Yeah.
So that's how it works for me.
That's a good point. So you were saying, Amelia, you've got like 40 some snakes roughly right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your breakdown, breeders, hatchlings, and what's your max size you want to get to?
Oh God. I would love for this to be something I could do full time, as that could have been mentioned in the goals. But right now, for 2023, I think I'm looking at 7 or 8 clutches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
That's a nice size. That's not bad. That's about where I'm at for this year too.
Yeah, so 7 or 8 depends on who decides to go and when they decide to go, and all of that. But so far, I've paired up that many. I have one clutch in the incubator. A little bit disappointing because it was the girl that gave me my first clutch. Had 7 eggs last year, This year she laid 8. 3 of them were slugs, and
Oh,
2 of them were infertile and had no veins and have gone bad. So we're down to 3 eggs.
that's I have been fortunate on that end. That I haven't, knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself, but everything's been good on that end. But that's one of those things. It's an eventual. It's going to happen. I mean,
Yeah. So she's bred 3 years in a row. She bred for her previous owner the year before I got her. So I think she may just be due for a year off. But I was thinking about it for this year, but she was bowl wrapping and having all the signs. So I just went ahead and paired her again, and it just, hopefully we get 3 healthy babies out of it. But she's, so I've already got 1, and looking at hopefully 7 more. We'll see about that one that I've stopped pairing. So,
when's your hatch date on your clutch that you have now?
Do what?
When's your hatch date?
It is 3/19.
Okay, we're like neck and neck. Like mine's 3/10.
Yeah.
For my clutch.
So we'll see. Hopefully they're all built. Hopefully. We'll see.
I need this clutch to be like female heavy. For myself, plus for a few people that I believe want to be on the wait list for them. This is my double head DG Examtic clutch, so there's going to be a lot of, fingers crossed, it's female heavy. Because a lot will stay here, but I might let 1 or 2 float away. Because it was a nice size clutch. It was 8 or 9 eggs.
Nice.
I think it's 8. So if I can get like 4 females to stay, anything beyond that can probably just go. Plus one male. Gotta keep 1 male.
Yeah, you gotta have the male for.
Yeah. I don't want to be dealing with 50% hets if I can help it on that one.
Yeah, like, and right now I've got 10 hatchlings that are listed for sale, give or take. There's a couple that haven't made it onto Morph Market yet because they were in shed when I was taking pictures. But so I've got about 10 for sale out of this first. It's like I'm like right on that line of, a lot of them are like more pet quality, so it'd be really good to take them to a show. But with only like 10, is it really worth it to pay the money to get all the stuff and set up and go to a show? So,
well,
I don't know.
I mean, you could do, if you got just like the really nice, like the deli cups type of deal that a lot of people use that are just starting out. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I mean, it get your feet wet with the show even. I mean, doing shows, vending it is an amazing experience. It's one thing to be around buying stuff, but being the person behind that table is absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah. I helped a friend of mine. I took a couple of the babies that I had at the time when we were, and so I've been to a couple and vended with her. With Gemini's exotics. So I've done a couple. It didn't line up with me to have babies ready when she had babies ready. So it was like, okay, so now I have, 10 babies that I could be taking to sell, and she doesn't have much. And I'm like, okay, should I try? Should I just wait? So right now I'm kind of just waiting it out, I think, for a little while.
Okay.
Till I get a few more. So,
I want to say, Ashley, Nikita, thank you very much for tuning in. It was great talking to you guys last night in the members live. I had a blast. It was just great conversations. I absolutely loved it. Hope you guys are doing well today. Jason, I didn't realize you were in PA, dude. Hit me up on Instagram and we will get you, and I'll give you some specifics for the Breeders Barbecue that's being held here in July. So if you're interested in that, hit me up on Instagram, dude, and we'll get you set up. So yeah. Oh, I lost my train of thought with what I was going to do with on the vending thing there. Oh, like even like for me, like for this coming Gettysburg, like I've got one hatchling, and I think that one hatchling is actually sold now. So I have nothing to take to my next show. I have an empty table. I'm gonna have to go to my friends and try to take some of their snakes to sell. But it's yeah, I mean, vending is just like I love it. I love the interaction that you get with it. Um, it's the network, like it's just the networking, the interaction, talking to people face to face. It's an amazing experience. I love it.
Yeah.
And right now, my personal opinion is like the pet. I say the pet quality stuff. Basically, if you're in that like $1,000 end and below, I feel that's what moves right now very, very, I don't want to say easily, but it moves very well at the shows right now from what I've experienced. I don't know if anybody else in the chat there has any thoughts on that as well, but that's what I've kind of noticed and experienced. So if you've got stuff in that range, Amelia, do whatever you can to take them to shows.
Yeah. Probably want to.
Or are you using Husbandry Pro?
I
know it's putting you on the spot. I know,
no.
but
okay, I have it and I was using it, but again, ADD brain. I forget that it exists when it's actually time for me to do something on it, and then what happens is I'm like, oh, I need to enter in this and this and this and this, and I can't make myself do it because there's just too much. But I watched your live last week, and I think they've added a lot of stuff to it since I last used it extensively.
Because right now there's a store option. It's in I think it's in the commerce tabs, but basically it gives you a mini online store, kind of like a Morph Market, only it's not Morph Market. And you can post all your animals that are for sale in your store, and you just drop that link, and people will click that link. It'll send them right to your store then. So, it's another nice little added bonus to it. So if you get the time to, play around with it a little bit more now. I think the store option itself is really nice. The incubator option that you can decide to have be public, that is even nicer, because then you can, have that be public. People can view that in your store, and you can start a wait list for stuff. So it's a very useful tool on that aspect. And with some of the stuff that I think you're going towards, it might be very beneficial for you as well.
Oh yeah, I just uploaded a bunch, basically all the ones I had for sale to Morph Market last week.
Okay.
And I actually had one sell basically within about 6 hours of posting it.
Nice.
Already had a message, just a little banana. Just a little.
But bananas sell though. That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
People love them.
And first time snake owner.
Okay.
And she's sending me pictures of her enclosure she's already got set up, and she's all excited. I love that. Like, that's just, I think, I know some people it might get on their nerves, but I love when I was at the shows talking people through, how to set things up and what they needed, and even online when people are messaging me, I'm like, whatever questions you have, I want the snake to have a good life. I want it to be taken care of properly. So, tell me what kind of enclosure you have. Tell me what kind of heat source you have.
Yep.
And I will give you advice on what might work better. Whatever.
I know I had the person that messaged me about the one that I have for sale yet, which is why I think it's sold, because she was very, very interested in it. Waiting to hear back from her, because she said she'd get back to me this week. But it started off talking about that animal, and then it went into just talking, messaging, and she'll show me different, snakes that she's already got and this and that. And, it's just really neat to, talk to somebody new that shares the passion just as much. And like, I just enjoy that aspect of it too.
Oh yeah.
T&J says they have a few banana female makers for sale too. Nice. Very nice. I sold. Well, I've got a female banana, and I've got my GHI Mojave banana, which I was hoping she'd be ready to go this year, but she's going to be next year, for sure. But that pastel banana girl I've got, she throws some killer babies. It's either her or the male, one of the two. But the mixture is very, very, very beautiful babies. What are some of your big, your 2023 pairings? What can people expect to see being produced hopefully this year?
Well, I've got the leopard clown het lavender going to lavender. So I don't know how many of those babies will actually be.
They might not make it to market.
For sale. But be like, all the females stay. Well,
yeah.
We'll see. Because that's the thing too. It's like I'm at this place where I'm having to weigh, because I need to build. I need that rat shed. I need more racks, and if I'm going to keep growing and if I'm going to keep stuff back, I have to have somewhere to put it.
Yeah.
So, the clutch in March is a Mojave clown male that was bred to a lesser female.
Okay.
I repeated that. I did that last year. That was my first pairing ever. And I got my holdback, which was a Bell female het clown. And then I also kept the normal out of the clutch. And,
the classic, super classic.
Exactly. And so everything else out of that sold so fast.
Okay.
So I was like, yes, let's repeat this, and then got 3x. So we'll see.
Well, you give her another this coming year off. I'm sure she'll bounce back, and you'll get a really killer clutch.
Yeah, and honestly, she's just a single gene lesser. Everybody that I've shown her to is like, she's one of the prettiest lessers. Like, she just glows, and all of her babies definitely got that too. So she's pretty. The Mojave clown is putting in the work. That is one thing I love the Mojave GHI clown combo. I just love how that messes up the pattern and the coloring it gets. And also the fact that we know it's allelic to so many things. So a lot of my things have been trying to do allelic pairings.
Okay, which that's smart.
So that Mojave clown he's gone to that lesser. He's going to a super mystic female. He's going to the special cinnamon female.
Okay.
And he's also going to banana inchy het clown female. Okay. So a lot of those are just making hets, but hopefully making allelic hets.
Yeah, exactly.
And to hold back and to sell, I think that's just to guarantee. Normals are gorgeous, but raise that the lower end of your price average up.
Yeah.
What you can get and what you can get visually. So that's one of my goals, has been to make some of those allelic combos to hold back and to sell.
Okay.
And every time I mention that, I'll have people be like, I want that. If you make more than one of those, they're already wanting to get that. So I think there's still definitely a demand for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's a demand for het anything, really, I think, right now.
Especially female-wise. Female-wise, hets, double het stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I am excited about him going to the Mojave clown to the banana inchy het clown. Because I want to see some visual banana clowns. And they'll be, female makers or females since the mom's the banana. And yeah, she's finally settled down. She was one of the spicier babies that I've had. But she's gotten chill as she's gotten older, and now
Okay.
so I think she's gonna throw some pretty babies because she just glowed as a hatchling. And then I've got my spot-nosed clown male, and he's going to he went to the leopard het clown. We'll see how that goes. He's going to pastel inchy clown.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna have an entire clutch of clowns, just gonna guarantee it. So that I'll have definite things that I want to hold back, and definitely some things.
And spot nose and Enchi, those two combinations look great in just about any combo.
Yeah. And then one that I'm really excited about that I think is different. The spot nose clown's going to a lesser HRA het clown. And
Okay.
I haven't seen that many, and also my spot nose clown might be red stripe.
Ooh, okay. So you've got a pot. All right. See, I've got the same thing kind of floating over here too, but it's with my my Bruce Wayne, my leopard spot nose het clown might have red stripe in her.
Yeah, he I got him from APEP and Sobek. Did I say that right? Check my stickers on the side of the incubator. And he was sold as just a spot-nosed clown. But then he messaged me later. He says, "Hey, just so you know, the dad of my male came from Canova and was possible red stripe, and now he's throwing red stripe babies." And he's like, and your guy looks just like his dad. Like, spitting image. So we don't know for sure, and I really hope that he throws something to indicate
something that confirms it.
Yeah. So, so if I end up with just a single gene like red stripe, I will be thrilled because
I bet
that's wild. That would be some wild combos. But, yeah, he's and for it being his first year breeding and he's going to 3 different he's doing the work. So that's the 8 for this year.
Okay.
And hopefully we get babies out of all of them.
I hope you hit it because, like you had said earlier, you had that rough patch there the other season. I think you're due for a really good season. So hopefully you get it.
I really hope so. I'm going to need a bigger hatchling rack if it all goes well, and I am okay with that. So yeah, they're all building that I can tell. I suck at palpating. I really want an ultrasound. I always say if I can feel follicles, they are definitely there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was at the point where if they had to be at least dime size, I could start feeling. Nickel was even better. After they hit that nickel size, it's like, all right, I know what I'm feeling now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just anything really before that, it was kind of, what's really going on here?
Yeah. If they'll do what they're like, I don't know, supposed to do and start bull wrapping and cool seeking and all that, I'm like, okay, we're on the right track here.
Yep. I've had a few that never did it though.
Yeah.
I've got a few that they don't really bowl wrap. They just kind of, they've just got their season and that's just kind of how they are.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of just have to watch them. And that's where, now the ultrasound is going to come into play as to keeping track of them.
Yeah.
Which, if you get a chance, definitely get one, Amelia. It's worth every penny. I promise. It's worth every penny.
Oh, yeah. It'll happen eventually. It's on the list. The rat shed is a little bit higher on the list.
Yeah, I can see that.
List. There is. I gotta get the rats out of my house. So bad. Please. Start a GoFundMe for the rat shed or something.
Hey, you could start up a YouTube channel And then like super chats and all that stuff. That's what helped me get my ultrasound was the super chats and everything. Which, speaking of super chats, everybody, if you feel free to drop super chats, super stickers, any of that awesome stuff, I greatly appreciate it. It's all going towards my PVC enclosure for the carpet pythons. I just placed the order with my buddy Ed, and so we'll be getting that. That's in the works. So it all helps out in the end. So thank you, everybody. Like I said, you don't got to. It's appreciated, but you don't have to. Anyway, for anybody that just hopped in here, and if you're not using Husbandry Pro, make sure you click this link, and it'll give you a free 30-day trial, and just try it out, see what you think of it. I think you'll really like it. All right, what are some of the things? All right, well, before we get into that, on that vending topic that we were on a little bit earlier, what are some of the shows where you want to start vending at that people can maybe start looking to see you at?
Most of the things near me are either Repticons. There are some Show Me snakes.
Okay.
Shows to me, which I've done both now. There's actually a Repticon going to be in Winston-Salem. I think I was looking up. It's in April, which they don't have one in Winston-Salem very often. So I may try to do that one at least because it's about 30 minutes away.
Oh yeah, you that's an almost have to do that one.
Yeah, got to do that one, and there's because most of them I'm in Yadkin County, which nobody's gonna know where that is. But if you're familiar with North Carolina at all, it's between Winston-Salem and Boone.
Yeah, I'm not familiar at all with North Carolina. I'll be honest.
No, it's fine. So there's nothing here. There's cows and there's chicken houses and there's me with my snakes.
That's a lot like me. There's cows and Amish and
There's a little Amish community. There's that's about it. So so it could be once I get some babies from this year. I feel like I'm definitely probably towards the end of 2023 gonna hit up more shows if the season goes as well as I hope that it does, to go to try to get out to Charlotte and Raleigh and Greensboro and do shows in those areas.
Okay, nice.
There's not a lot of big stuff. The Charlotte Repticon seems to be pretty big. Those two, Charlotte and Raleigh, I think tend to be pretty good size.
Okay.
And I liked the Show Me Snakes show that I went to a little bit better. They didn't charge you for using their electricity. So that was nice.
What?
Yeah,
what?
Repticon, yes. There's an extra charge to vend at Repticon to use the electricity.
Okay. That's a first for me. But
it was so if you're okay with not having lights and your snakes being cold all day, then I guess you don't have to pay that. But if you want your snakes to actually be visible, if you want your snakes to actually be visible and have some warmth, you are gonna have to pay. It was like $20 more. I don't remember.
Oh wow!
And then you still have to bring all of your own cords and stuff to plug in. It was wild. So the atmosphere at the Show Me show I went to was better, but also where they had it, I went to the one in Durham, and it was a nice. What was it? It was an armory, but there was like no food. There was no concession stand. There were no vending machines, and and when you're there all day and you don't know that ahead of time to pack snacks.
Yep, that sucks.
A lot. Everybody in there was calling, Uber Eats and stuff. The delivery guys were constantly coming through the back door, like, whose is this? Yes.
We got an order for here. As long as you don't do what happened at the last Oaks show that I was vending at. I don't know if you caught the live about going over this whole thing. All right, this is a funny haha story. So Dom, my son Dom, he's 15, soon to be 16. He's my show buddy. Okay, he goes and helps me out at the shows. He basically sleeps all day, but tells me at the end of the show how great of a time he had. It's like, dude, you
That works.
slept the whole day. Like, you don't even know what happened all day.
That's teenager. That's just a teenager.
I guess it is. And we were vending next to Chris at BNS, and Chris comes walking over. He goes, "Hey, do you guys want pizza?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, I'll chip in. We can get a pizza. It's like, just get us, like a large cheese pizza. I was like, Dom and I can all but kill a large ourselves. And he goes, "Okay." So he had asked Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons as well if he wanted a pizza. Apparently, Nathan said yes, he wanted a pizza. So Chris orders the pizza. Pizza finally shows up, and needless to say, Chris hands Dom a cheese pizza, which we assumed was for us. I think somewhere along the lines there was a pizza that wasn't ordered, and Dom and I, like, Chris had said something about make sure Nathan gets some pizza. So Dom took a slice of cheese pizza over and gave it to Nathan's wife Sharon, and said, "Here's your pizza." She said, "Oh, okay, thanks." She ate it. Nathan came over, and there was like 3 slices left of this large. And Nathan's like, "Where's my pizza at?" He goes, "Dom came over and gave Sharon a slice." He goes, "I don't have anything." Because I thought I was getting a whole pizza. We're like, well, I thought we were getting a whole pizza, Chris. So needless to say, we were like a pizza short, and there was just a whole debacle over where the hell things went wrong at, and yeah, and it all led down to the teenager.
Just always blame the teenager.
Yeah, poor Tom. Like, I love the boy. I couldn't have asked for a better kid, but my God, he makes me laugh sometimes. The one time he woke up, he goes, "Did you sell anything yet, Dad?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. It's like I've been selling like crazy today." He goes, "Oh, well, how much did I make?" "You've been sleeping. You didn't make anything, boy. Get up and work a little bit. Maybe you'll make something." But yeah, it's like God,
what was that line? It was a Cosby Show, which I know is kind of now, but where he goes, "You have."
I loved Bill Cosby when I was a kid watching that.
He's like, "You are poor. Your mom and I have money."
Yes, yes, I remember that line. I can't remember how it goes, but yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yes, Jason, thank you. Everybody hit that thumbs up for me, but for me as well. And if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button as well. Please. I appreciate all the support. Ashley says, "I wish Walmart was this empty all the time." One upside to Kansas City being in the Super Bowl. That's a good point. Yeah. Wilcox, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. So what's one, or it doesn't have to be one, but what are some of the jeans you're looking forward to adding into your collection this year, next year?
I definitely want to get a GHI clown male.
Ooh.
Possibly with something added on top of that.
Okay.
Because I have that Mojave clown pairing to a bunch of different things. And eventually, his offspring are going to be old enough to breed. So that's definitely one of my goals, to get GHI clown boy to start going to stuff. And like I do want to get into some more. I don't know how to say this. I feel like I need to get some visual clowns stacked up in my collection before I start venturing into the more of the double recessive stuff that I want to do. So I'd like to get, because right now a lot of what I have, especially females, is het clown females.
Mm-hmm.
And so really to get into doing doubles, I would like to have kind of an army of visual females built up to start getting that into. So that's kind of where I'm at with all that. But I'd like to either make or buy a lavender het clown boy.
Ooh, okay.
And that would be a good. Yeah, could do that. Because I don't know if I make a lavender het clown male, I don't know if I would keep it and then breed it back to the mom, or if just
I would.
Which I know, like, you can. Like, I know that they have a lot of tolerance for inbreeding, but at the same time, I'm like, but so I'm like, would I rather maybe sell that and get an unrelated one? But at the same time, they're all distantly related. Oh, Murder Mittens has made an appearance.
Murder Mittens. Well, with what you were saying on that, like my Bumblebee double het Xanthic clown male, I bred him this year back to his mom, and he's been paired up to his sister, going for that double visual. So I've got the chance of the double visual, and I've got the chance of the visual Xanthic with the 50% het clown, hopefully in there. Nice. So he's really, getting the banjo playing on his end. But if I get that double visual Xanthic clown, it's worth every banjo he's played.
Yeah.
I mean, I will be a happy man then. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Well, you're gonna
What's that?
You're gonna get all those people who say that spiders only wobble because they're inbred. Going on. It's like
I can pull out any spider in this collection and hold it by its last third of its body or last quarter of its body, and that sucker won't wobble or corkscrew. I'm very confident in that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate on that none of my spider stuff is screwy or any of that crap. Very, very fortunate on that one. But it's also probably one of the reasons why I still love it as much as I do. I don't have those issues at the moment.
Yeah. I have
days like that.
I have a killer bee, at least that's as far as I know what he is, that is just pet only, because he came from a coworker whose son was going to college, and I came in from work, he has his own PVC enclosure, because he's rotten, and he was literally laying with his head all the way back, and he was asleep. He was not moving. And I go in and I'm like, oh God, are you dead? What are you doing? And I opened up the door and I poked him and he's like, what? Like, okay, he's not dead. Cool. You had me concerned.
I've had a few that don't have spider in them do basically just that. Like they'll sleep really stupid and you're like, are you alive? And you poke them and you rub them and then they move. We're like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
We're still alive.
Yeah. Like I don't have any issue. I have a champagne het grail that female growing up that'll be bred. And I have my eye on a hidden gene Woma that's het grail that's been on Morph Market for a while. That I would love to get because I think the hidden gene Woma clowns they have this crazy pattern to them. That boy though, he's not gonna be because I look at just the bottom line on him. He doesn't have any recessives. He's like the pastel and the spider. There's just not a ton of drive out there for it. Although putting him with one of these calico girls that I made this year,
calico and spider were meant for each other.
Babies. If he was a girl, man, he'd be going to my calico boy every single season. But
show him off once. Show off if you want to show off some snakes, Amelia. Show him off. I'll put you up here on the big screen.
I got he's in the living room in his enclosure, so I'll just leave the spider there. But I'll show you. Let's see this calico boy if he decides not to stop being a jerk. Come here, butthole.
See that if you've got calico though, you're off to a really nice start if you get into Xanthic. because
Yeah.
Calico and Exantic work very nice. He does have some really nice highlights in him.
He's gorgeous. And well, okay. Why you gotta be like this? Dante. Do you name yours anymore?
All right, I named some. I've gotten a little too laid back with it, and I guess it's not even laid back, it's laziness. But it's also because I know some of these things are just building blocks, and once they're out of date and kind of, what I've produced is better, they're going to be moved out. So I haven't gotten really fully attached to them enough to name them. But there's a few like my dream out, I'm not even bother pulling him out, but my orange dream bumblebee, I did name him just because he was one of my dream animals to hit, and so he's one that won't leave.
Oh my god! Please stop.
He's a big boy too.
He came from that pet store I was talking about. I got feeders from. He was so fat. Where they had him, he was full grown, and he'd been an owner had basically sold him to the pet store when they moved, and they wouldn't let me sex him. But he was so fat that my brain went, "That's got to be a female." So I took the risk and I bought him, got him home, probed him. Sure enough, male.
Okay.
And he would probably lock with. Could you not? I would I don't know if I want to put him to like a clown female at some point to get his calico into clown, or if it'd just be faster to just buy a calico clown, because I love,
but the thing is, you got to remember, if you like how his calico is, then it's worth every bit of it, because then you're doing your own selective breeding with it. So
really,
it's kind of how you want to do it.
Doesn't seem like his personality is inherited, because he's a butt. He's a big boy. He threw some pretty babies. He paired to a lemon blast, the one that passed away after she laid.
Okay.
And I do want to breed him again, because I had a weird granite gene pop out in the babies, and I don't know if it came from him or if it came from the mom.
Okay.
Let's see. Come back. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Now you have to go back.
He's like, but I don't want to. Freedom.
Put me in with a girl, please. God.
You need some Exantic for him, Amelia. You need to get some Exantic to throw him into.
There's Tansy. Hi. Oh, you have stuck shed on your head still. Really, supervisor? The cat's in my chair. I moved for 30 seconds. So this is the normal that popped out of that clutch.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's as clear now. I can't figure out where my camera is. But she's got all this speckling.
Well, you've got some interesting stuff going up in the flames there too.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing up towards the front, there, like some popcorning and.
Yeah. So there's just this kind of granity type look. So I decided to keep her. Even if it doesn't prove out, at least then, well, I've got, a normal female. See all that?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to prove to be anything, or if it's going to be a super normal.
I mean, the thing is, you like it, and like you said, I mean, you don't know until you prove it out. I actually had a male I probably should have kept. Because when I sent pictures to Nathan, and the one male he picked out right off the start, he goes, dude, he goes, what the heck is that? Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing, it looked like he sprinkled confetti all over him, with just all this different pixelation going on with like yellows and stuff. I probably should have kept him, but I sold him.
This guy is really in blue right now, but it's a super pastel from that same clutch. But I just, blah.
See, he's even got, I mean, the flaming and some of that popcorn.
Yeah.
And you can see the granity going on there.
Uh-huh. So I've had somebody say that they would buy him, but he might stay and breed to his sister there to see
if there's not something else.
If there's something else. And those were the only two that came out of that clutch that didn't get the pinstripe.
Oh, okay.
So they've got,
Jason, there's always a way to figure out what's in them, brother. There's always a way to figure out. All we gotta know is the base genes, and we can go from there. If there's leopard in it, I can probably pick the leopard out real quick. Leopard like screams at me for whatever reason. I don't know why. Our dad's going crazy. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Wayne and Alice from Serpentine. Thank you for tuning in as well.
Yeah. I'm keeping a lot of these because I think Axanthic in this is going to be gorgeous. So that's the pastel calico pin.
Yeah, you throw Axanthic into that, and that thing's going to light up.
Mm-hmm. I need an Axanthic fire, I think, to put with these guys.
That would be nice, yes.
So he threw that calico. It's just gorgeous.
Look at, I mean, that pattern is crazy. And you've got that big giant black splotch up there towards the front quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost looks like a paradox coming through.
Yeah. He has another girlfriend that's growing up right now. It's a banana inchy OD. Hey, rude.
Okay.
Possible super OD. And I think she is.
I love Orange Dream.
Yes.
Orange Dream is it's just nice. I love it, especially high intensity OD. I've got one high intensity OD girl growing up, and she's my biggest pain in the neck when it comes to eating. It's so aggravating, but she's that stinking beautiful. I mean, she glows, so she gets a free pass every time.
Oh yeah. So this girl came from Garrett DeMeyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she
That's
is just
very, very clean looking.
I cannot imagine this with calico. Gonna be gorgeous.
Now, is that just a plain banana or what else? Banana Enchi?
Banana Inchy OD.
Okay.
Possible super OD.
And that's this possible super.
Yeah.
Man,
honestly, yeah. I think she has.
Yeah, that's a tough one there.
I really think she probably has the super OD because she's just gotten she's stayed so. It's not really coming across on the camera as much, but she's just stayed so orange. She is so bright.
And it's very possible she is then. Because she's super clean. Super.
Yeah. She doesn't have many freckles yet either.
Well, if she doesn't have many freckles at that size yet, chances are she probably isn't going to develop a whole lot either.
The banana Inchy head clown doesn't have many freckles. I think the Inchy
kind of hides it maybe.
I
know, like Mojave does the same thing with banana. It helps eliminate the freckling too.
I was mad that I'd missed on. I had that the girl that I talked about being egg bound.
Oh, okay.
She's a pewter Mojave, and she was paired to a pastel banana GHI for her clutch, and I was like, I missed on like mini banana Mojaves. Oh, well, sort of. Sort of.
Sort of.
Show you my crazy boy.
I like that sort of.
I understand.
Like the GHI Mojave banana girl that I hit my first season, like the camera doesn't do her justice because she is like pinkish lavender, like with like a very bright cream dorsal to her.
Hmm. I have no clue what this snake. Like, I have clues because I know what went into the pairing. But I think he might be the all gene. I don't know if he's super pastel. So I think he is.
That head looks awful blushed out.
Yeah. I think he is. Obviously, he's banana. GHI Mojave cinnamon super pastel is what I'm leaning towards him being.
I could definitely see the super pastel because that head's massively blushed out.
But yeah, I love that he's got just the little bit of pattern you can see.
Yeah, I was just say it's the camera I think's having a hard time picking it up just because he's super bright.
And then he almost looks green in person.
Oh, okay.
It's wild. Like the color between the pattern almost has a greenish tint to it. So I don't know if he's all gene. There may be something in there that got missed because I know GHI cinnamons have kind of that weird blown out.
I see. They
pattern too. I feel like if he was just GHI Mojave, he would have a solid back stripe or more of a back stripe.
If he was, here, I'll show you.
So straight blast, the pairing was a pastel GHI banana to a pastel cinnamon Mojave.
GHI. Now this is GHI Mojave banana. Let me flip flop us here.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping to hit that and without pastel getting in it, but
I mean, like I said, the camera does not do this girl justice. I actually just did a short with her. I called it Barbie's Ball Python. I actually did really well, I think, just because I threw Barbie in there. But there you actually get on that short, it does a pretty good job with her color. I mean, this is what I would expect with GHI Mojave banana. I was hoping to nail her like her dad was. Her dad's patternless on the sides. She has pattern, but he also doesn't have that really killer flamey looking dorsal stripe either. Nice. He's just got a plain Jane normal dorsal.
Yeah. And I'm like, can't repeat the pairing because the mom is not going to breed again. So.
Yeah, mom passed.
Well, no, mom's still alive on this one, but she is.
Oh.
Did not have any more complications. But this boy.
Oh, yes. It's that one. Okay.
Yeah. I have this guy posted on Morph Market, but if he doesn't sell, I'm not going to be super disappointed because he's just neat. He's just.
I would almost hold him back just to prove him out.
Yeah. That's what I've thought because, I mean, he's definitely got all the genes that Dad does, and like this year, everything I'm doing is clown.
Okay.
So like all of these that. First year I had mostly non-recessives, but this year I'm mainly hitting clown, and so we'll have to see. He's got a great personality. He's a sweetheart.
I think I screwed up this year, possibly. I don't think I have one pairing that involves clown at all. Everything is Xantic and Desert Ghost.
I mean. If you're
and then I have a few, like my banana clutch. I did that clutch pairing with my GHI Mojave again, just because the babies from that first time doing it were so like amazing, and they sold like that, and people wanted that girl that I held back in the worst way. It's like, you know what? If I could hit one or two more females like that, or just hit one or two more snakes that look like that, you know, I figured it's going to be one of those. What's the word I want to use? Stability clutches type of deal. And then same thing with I threw my GHI Mojave back to my lesser, hoping to make some GHI Mojaves, some lesser GHIs, and then go for the bells again as well. Because we only hit one bell last season, and I was going to keep him. And I thought, we'll see how he does. And in the second show, he sold. And I'm fairly certain he had GHI in him because you could see
Sure.
faint pattern with him,
Down.
even through the all white.
Get down. I'm gonna sit on a cat. Swear to goodness. I'll just stand. This is fine. So this is the sister to that one, and I think she is the same except no banana.
I see. That's definitely GHI Mojave.
Cinnamon.
What else was in it?
Cinnamon and pastel. I think she might not be super pastel.
I don't think it's super pastel, but I think it's everything else.
It's everything else, yeah.
It's everything else, just minus the second dose of pastel and the banana.
Yeah, her nickname is Blobby. Because I kept calling her the little gray blob in the egg. But her actual name going into Husbandry Pro and on her tag is Willow. But her nickname is Blobby because she's just a little gray blob.
But I love the door, the black outlining some of that pattern is so nice.
She's so, I mean, and it's funny because they end up, the more genetics you have, the more they're just going to be kind of a patternless, gray snake. But she's a powerhouse. Once she starts
definitely
breeding. So she's staying as mom's kind of replacement for when she gets bigger. Add calico into that.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe by the time she's big enough to breed, I'll have a male from that calico to the banana Inchi.
Yeah.
And put that in. So Inchi and Cinnamon would be making some of that campfire. I really would like to do campfire.
I said campfires are really neat looking.
Yeah. That was my goal with this year, to breed the mom to this pair to the calico boy.
Okay.
But not going to happen. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very least, she's not going to breed for several years. I'm leaning towards not breeding her again at all. So.
Yeah, that's, in my personal opinion, after going through that, I wouldn't risk her.
Yeah.
It's just not, to me, it's just not worth it. If you really, unless it was something where you just had to do it.
Yeah. If it was like a one of a kind multi-gene snake, then maybe. But
yeah, if you're talking if you breed her and you're talking like a $50,000 clutch, okay, yeah, I can maybe risking it. But at the same token, the sentimental value of her, it's irreplaceable at that same point.
Oh yeah. Oh. I'm glad I got some babies from her, and I got this girl at least is staying. Her brother there is probably gonna stay. Like I said, he's listed, but yeah. One of their brothers that's just I think he's a pastel banana, possibly super pastel. It's so hard to tell with the blushing and everything on the head with the bananas already.
It is. That girl I was just showing you, at first when I cut the egg, and even after she was out of the egg, I had her labeled as pastel. And I noticed as a little bit of time went on, she does what her dad does. And her dad he'll everybody talks about crested geckos firing up. Well, her dad does it. He will blush his head out to where it's like a pale white almost. It almost looks super pastel, and his grays glow, and it seems like the grays creep up higher on his sides and gives him even less black up there towards the dorsal. And I realized that that's what she does. When she wants to, she'll fire up and she'll blush herself out to where she looks like she's got pastel in her. And it's just a mean, cruel joke, to say the least.
Yep. Right,
very beautiful, though.
You ready to go back? Boy.
Are there any other species you want to add into the mix, Amelia? You know, going on throughout the years, you just want to stick with ball pythons, or
I I for a I think I'm gonna stick with balls for a while.
okay,
I like um, I want to keep it to things that I could manage to handle by myself.
yeah,
So as much as I love the look of like reticulated pythons,
that's
I
yeah.
really like retics. I would do like a guaranteed super dwarf
Like I was
at
just like a
some
super
point.
dwarf or something.
But you know, I'm living on my own. I'm not planning on changing that. So anything has to be something I can handle myself. I had my eye on a Bredli at one point.
Okay,
I think those are. I just love the color and the pattern on those, and so that might be something. It's just this is the only room that I have right
okay,
now to dedicate to the snakes. If I were to, get a bigger house, maybe with a basement, or expand to a separate building or something, then I would probably build, get enough space to put bigger enclosures for bigger snakes. But right now, everything's in. This is the second smallest bedroom of
okay.
my house, and so the thing I can keep very easily and still give it everything it needs are the ball pythons.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was gonna say, if like retakes, I'm with you there on the retake. They're really awesome. I'd love to own one. It's the space that's the big kicker. I would say your next step, my opinion, carpet.
Yeah,
There's things like they're just like retakes, but you don't need all the morphs to make like they're just flashy by themselves.
yeah. I've looked at. I've gone through and surfed all the different ones on Morph Market, and they're cool. I would like a. I think at some point I'd like a rainbow boa. I think they're pretty.
Okay.
They're pretty.
They're really gnarly looking, just like their base color, and then you get the iridescence on them that really just like makes them crazy.
Oh yeah. So that's. I kind of want a crusty, or a lychee because they're a little bit bigger. They look like they have one brain cell, and it's doing the old DVD screensaver where it would like bounce
Yep.
around. That's what I imagine is going on in a Krusty's head. Is that little brain cell just bouncing around?
I was watching like when I was at the last show I was at with Danny. I was just helping him bend his stand, and he had some crusties for sale because he's getting into the crested gecko game as well. And I'm there looking at these things. I mean, and they're crazy. Like they're really neat looking, but they're I don't know if I want to say like they're kind of like derpy almost. Like they kind of seem like they're not quite all there in the head. Like they're there, the lights are on, but there
Yeah.
probably isn't anybody home. And then I always joke with him because like you see so many of them that don't have tails and they don't grow them back. So I always make fun of him. I was like, dude, what are you gonna do? Like sell the lizard and like charge extra for the tail or something? Like it's Cresties, they're neat. I love the fact you don't have to have any heat for them. You just keep them at like room temperature and you give them that whatever the food in a dish and that's it. Like you don't like they're very easy animals to care for, which I think is why they've become so popular.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like at the show there was this girl holding one of his, and like she kept like touching the tail. I'm like, oh my god, this thing's gonna drop a tail in front of me. Like it was just like, and it was a couple $100 Cresty, and I'm just like, oh please God, quit touching the tail, just please stop. But yeah, it's Cresties. I think that's one thing I'd like to get a crested gecko breeder on here just to find out what in the hell happened that made them become like so popular out of nowhere. Like it was a complete right field. Like where the hell did this come from for me?
I like leopard geckos. They just move too fast for me. That's the one I love. Like, I love the ball pythons. I feel like us calling any other species derpy, though, as ball python keepers is a little hypocritical.
It's very hypocritical. You're right. Yes, you're extremely correct on that one. When I look at my ball pythons, I don't even know if they have brain function sometimes.
I mean, my lavender girl bit herself last week trying to bite the rat, and I mean, was locked on to her own butt, and like I thought I was gonna have to get her loose. She did manage to get her own teeth out of her scales, but.
Jim says they have multiple crested geckos, and that's 100% an accurate description. All crested geckos on the planet share one single brain cell. I mean, they're neat looking though. I gotta give them credit. They're gnarly looking little things. I like the way they look, but they just kind of the lights are on, but I don't know if anybody's home.
I know.
Like with the ball pythons being derpy and not all there. I pull open the tubs, things are shaking around a little bit, and you go and touch them, and they still jump like they don't know you're there. And like, even if you were sleeping, all that motion, like, it should have woken you up. It's like I can walk in here and I can see the carpets, and they're completely fine. Uh-oh, we lost Amelia.
Okay.
Up there she is. All right, we're good. I was like, oh no, she froze.
It gave me a warning. It says you may be on an unstable connection. I'm like, oh,
Uh-oh.
The internet is not the only unstable thing in this house. It's fine.
But no, like ball pythons, like you can open up the tub and like and when you touch them, they still jump. I can walk through that door and the carpets, like they are that in tune to what's going on. They know the second you're in the room. So I'm convinced, there's just not a whole lot of activity in ball pythons. And excuse me, but that's just my, my personal thought.
They are the pet rocks.
Yes. Ashley says, especially when they are ready to breed, our male Cressy tries to jump through his enclosure to get to the female next to him. Splat. Oh, that's funny. Well, we're a little bit past that 2-hour mark, Amelia. I'm going to ask, I've got like 2 more things I want to ask you before we call it a night.
Okay.
What are some of the things you've learned from starting up to now?
Whoa.
About the breeding aspect, vending, as like anything in general? What have you learned from starting up to this point now?
Oh, that is a long list. That is a very long list. I think if I had to put just the top thing is that it's more about connection than you think. I feel like maybe it could just be me being in this room with these snakes and not as part of these Discords or these Patreons or this YouTube community or going out to shows and talking to people. But you're not gonna number one, learn anything from anybody, and you're not going to you're probably not going to sell your stuff either just by I think a lot of people might see it and think, oh well, I can just do this and at home and I don't have to interact with anybody and I can post stuff on Morph Market and it'll just go and that's it. And it's definitely not that. It's all about the people.
Yeah.
It's the 100%. More you will put yourself out there and try to network with people and then even connecting to customers and talking them through it, then that's what's going to make the difference between, feeling successful. Like if I never sold a snake, I would be very disappointed, but I would also be satisfied with how many people I have met just doing this.
Exactly.
And it's funny. I talk to people sometimes. They're like, "You're never going to make any money, doing this. Why are you pouring money into this? Why are you doing this?" And I think people forget it's a hobby, and people are allowed to have hobbies. I mean, there were people with like toy train sets all filling up a spare bedroom of their house, you know, and some people crochet and some people pour money into fixing up cars. My stepdad hunts. Notice I put that in quotation marks because he has a food plot that he does every year, and he does all the minerals and feeding, and he sights in his rifles, and he has a tractor that he mainly uses for that food plot. And the deer around my house eat really well. The man has not killed a single deer in like the 10 years that he's been here, but he's done all of that for them. And yet he looks at me, he's like, why do you have all these snakes if it's not going to make money? I'm like, dude, like, yeah. It can be a hobby. I'd love to make money from this. I'd love to make a profit. I'd love for this to be my full-time job. But at the same time, if this just turns out to be my hobby, I will be perfectly satisfied with that.
Well, plus not many hobbies can you have the opportunity to get a return on. Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's a one-time return. It's a yearly return on average.
Yeah.
So.
And it's just, I mean, and more things I've learned, and just from these people, is not everything is going to go perfectly. You are going to have bad clutches and bad years, and things come up, and having that network of people to support you and go, you know what, it's okay, you can keep going, it happens to everybody, is just invaluable. So if anybody were getting into this, I guess like my advice to them, the thing that I would say that I've learned the most is just to reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to get involved in these communities. There's some crap. There's some crap.
There is some places you just need to steer clear from.
You know? Yeah. There's certain people in Facebook groups, and I adminned a Facebook group for a while and helped out, and there are some people, and TikTok, holy crap.
I stay out of TikTok. We have a TikTok. Dom's supposed to run it. I think there's like 2 whole videos in almost a year's time span. So I'm pretty sure there's not a whole lot of action going on there on our end.
I have a TikTok. I think I posted one snake TikTok and a couple of like random things, but I'm on there just browsing stuff, and you see so much. There's so much negative stuff. It's from the pet people.
Okay.
So I think you gotta surround. I feel like in this hobby, there's different groups of people within the hobby too. Where, you've got, and everybody's done their own research, and everybody thinks that they know best. But I feel like once you get into the safe space of breeders, there's a lot of breeders who are freely admitting, we think we know what we're doing. And we just do the best that we can with the knowledge that we have. But
exactly.
that knowledge can change, and people learn different things with keeping. Like, wasn't it Brian Barczyk who, like, years ago had so much like vitriol on him, where people were saying he didn't like take care of his animals well or something, and now he's like.
I think it might have been him. It wouldn't surprise me, just because Brian draws a lot of attention no matter what, just because of who he is. So I could see him being kind of having a bullseye on him from all sorts of directions.
Yeah.
And the man's he's done amazing things for the industry and hobby and pet keepers and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you could really say anything bad truly about Brian, but there's always going to be that one person that tries to find that one thing.
Yeah. And people need to remember that just because somebody, if they make a mistake in keeping, or maybe they're not doing best practice, it doesn't mean that they're not a good person.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's just doing the best that they can with the knowledge that they have. Hey, come here. I'm going to show you off for a minute.
Ooh.
This is Murder Mittens, also known as Daisy. She's the only one who actually earns her keep. She kills any escaped rodent If you're gonna breed rodents in your house, you need a murder mittens.
I think that's funny. Ashley says, well, KC fans are going to be terrible for the next year. Sigh. But does that mean Kansas City won or did they lose?
You never
Like,
know.
are they going to be angry for the next year, or are they going to be like jerky, like know-it-alls for the next year?
It's already over.
Well, what happened here, Ashley? You can't just let me in suspense here. I mean, I know I'm not a sports person, but now you've got intrigued me.
I googled it. You want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, Kansas City won 38-35.
Oh, okay, so they squeezed it. They squeezed out.
Ooh.
Kansas City doesn't burn to the ground tonight. Sounds like a bomb went off.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny. Well, it sounds, if it was that close, it sounds like it was a good game then, at least for everybody. But, well, do you have any other tips, Amelia, or does anybody in the chat have any questions for Amelia before we call this a wrap for the night? Because feel free to drop any questions, everybody in the chat. Give everybody a minute here. We give everybody a minute here. Next week is going to be a solo live for me. So you guys are going to be stuck with my ugly mug for a whole 2 hours if we make 2 hours. If I can even make it, because who knows when Kara's going to have the baby. That's kind of why I figured I'd do a live for next week, just kind of trying to predict what's going to happen. And after that, on the 26th, I should have Chad of Hulker's Herps on. But I'm having a hard time. Like, we set the date up. I'm having a hard time getting a hold of him again to get, like, pictures, logos, that type of deal. So, yeah, I'm working hard on that one. And then March 5th, I've got a round table planned. It's going to be myself, Nathan from Infinite Possible Pythons, Eric Burke from EB Morelia, and then Riley Jimson of Riley's Reptiles. We're going to be touching a very touchy topic, I think, that I think will spark a lot of conversation in the chat. And I'm going to let it at that because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I'll just put it this way. There was a meme that had been posted up by somebody, and it spoke a lot of volume. And I thought it deserved its own live. That it kind of makes me want to step back and re-examine a little bit of things here in the ball python hobby and industries. But we'll just let it at that. But I think it's going to be a really great live. And then once we get over the main topic, we'll jump into other things. But I think the main topic is going to take up most of the show. And then I've got the next 2 weekends after that blank at the moment. I'm working on getting guests for those. And then March 26th, I have Ashley and Nikita of Pip Stalkers, which they just dropped a question as well. And then after that, on April 2nd, we've got John from Inquiline will be joining us. So that's kind of what the lineup's looking like. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here for the 2 weeks in the middle of March, but we'll get them filled in, no problem. But Ashley and Nikita want to know, where do you want to see where do you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years?
I would I'd be really cool if this would get to like full time within about 5. I don't know. My plan is sort of to see whenever I get to about 20 clutches in a year. So okay. I'm on, like, my trajectory is kind of increasing every year, which is, so like this year, looking at maybe 8 clutches. Next year, I'm hoping to get to about 15. Depends on how much, how quickly my grow ups, how they stay on food, if they hit that 1,000-gram wall or not.
Yeah.
I've had a couple who've done that, but most of mine have they don't care. And
See,
maybe
I've got
it's
a few that I think are screwing around on that wall at the moment. It's kind of aggravating.
and maybe I think maybe I mean I'm feeding ASF, so I joke sometimes that it's the ASF Miracle Grow because they just go gaga for it and they grow really steadily and for the most part I've only had a couple that I've looked at and go, okay, yeah, we're gonna drop you down because you are getting chunky. Even if I'm feeding, I feed pretty much weekly.
Okay.
I know some people drop back to like every other week at a certain point, but
Yeah, I do that after they hit like 300 grams. I
yeah,
drop everybody then to every 2 weeks. But then they're getting a meal where when they eat, it lets a little bulge in their belly.
mm-hmm.
So, it kind of, by the time that 2 week mark comes due, they fully digested everything. It left, gave their heart a little bit of time to go back down to normal
Yeah,
size, kind of hit that normal state again.
yeah, and I've done that on a few of mine. But when I've dropped back to every other week, I've felt like when I get them in my hands and feel their body condition, and maybe it's just that I know there's some debate about whether really the different rodents have different nutritional value.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do think that the ASFs are a little more, they're leaner, more
Okay.
protein. And part of that is just that I know I feed them a higher protein diet and they require a higher protein diet where they start eating each other.
I heard that as well about the little suckers.
So I've wondered if that's the reason why it seems like when I drop them back to every other week, especially like my subadults, I'll start when I pick them up. I'm like, you don't feel as girthy or quite as I don't know. You know that feeling you can when you feel them and their skin just doesn't feel quite as taut, and you're like, I need to feed you more.
It feels like they're just a little under where they need to be.
So that's why I've mostly kept mine on weekly with the ASFs, and I think that's one thing. That's another thing where you get those people that'll give you feedback in different groups or they're more on social media where you're like, if you just know your snake, if you'll just, I feel like for most of us, if we just check on our snakes regularly and you touch them and you feel them, then you know what your snakes need better than somebody, maybe some stranger on the internet who's just like, you need to be doing this. I'm like, you don't live in my house. You don't handle my snakes on a regular basis. You don't know what they might need. So
exactly. Yes,
that's just my take on it. But again, back to whatever we were talking about, the ADD rabbit trail that just happened.
It's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, like depending on how, like the females I have, I really, once I get to 20 clutches in a year, that's the year that I want to kind of step back and say, okay, let me look at all these bazillion spreadsheets that I have. And because I have spreadsheets of like possible pairings where I've gone on Morph Market and looked at prices for like the different combos of babies. Of course, those change so much to try to figure out what I want to pair and what the best pairing would be right now to make. And, kind of guesstimating how much average I might make from clutches and, looking at what I make right now. I'm a public school teacher. There is not exactly a humongous income to replace as a public school teacher. Let's just be real here. The only issue is the benefits are pretty.
As I'm
good.
sure there's got to be a nice plus side to it.
So that's something that if I got to the point where this could replace my income, I'd still have to kind of do the math and look at, the benefits and the retirement and that kind of stuff. But the state of North Carolina, they just keep coming for teacher stuff. So we'll see how that goes in a few years. But yeah, I think the year, whenever I get to 20 clutches is when I kind of want to really look at it and analyze, is this something that with the amount of work it's taking, like that I feel like I'm actually able to do this, like physically. I have scoliosis and had spinal fusion, so I have a bad back. And so just to look at, I feel like that's a good number whenever I hit that 20 clutch mark, whether it's in year 4, year 5, or somewhere in the future, to really step back and look and say, okay, is this actually making the amount of money that I think it could make? Is it going to make, what do I need to do to make this support me? Do I feel like I could, the thing about part-time teaching is, at least working for the state, as far as I know, there's not a ton of part-time type jobs.
Okay.
I've thought about doing private lessons, so like private piano lessons and private voice lessons, or working for a church or something to supplement. So that's definitely something, or possibly taking a different position within the school system that's not quite as intensive as the jumping up and down and dancing around the room with kindergartners and yelling at my 5th graders yelling over 25 ukuleles at a time.
Oh God.
Oh,
I know. Dom has a ukulele. He's now upgraded to a guitar, but he still brings the ukulele out. And everybody gets tired of me probably talking about it, but that boy could play Metallica on a ukulele.
yes.
And he's self-taught too. Self-taught. I was up in my man cave, which this goes back to what you were saying about the hobby thing earlier. Like, my man cave is nothing but Star Wars collectibles, memorabilia all over the place. And I was in there playing Call of Duty that night, and I hear this ukulele going. And I paused, and I was like, that's Metallica on a ukulele. And I walked over. I asked him, like, Dom, who are you listening to playing Metallica on that? He goes, that's me. I'm like, what? And my jaw hit the floor. I don't know if the boy can even read music at all. Like, I don't know if he knows how to read notes or anything. But he figured out how to do it just by, fingering everything and just, I guess, learning the really hard way. Because, like I said, I don't know if he knows how to read music. I mean, I guess I don't know if in high school, do they even go over? You would have to be in band to learn that stuff, I would think. I don't think they have a music class in high school.
Just depends on the class. But even when I do ukulele, I don't, I've taught the kids basics of reading lines, but for ukulele, it's a different type of notation system anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. I've taught high school. I've taught middle and high and elementary is what I'm at now. So in there, middle school was fun. Middle school, I honestly, that was what I did before I went to elementary. I do miss, the thing I miss most about those grades is with elementary, I see the kids maybe once a week, or actually right now I see each class every other week because I'm at 2 schools.
Oh, okay.
But mentally, my brain is so tired. I feel like I have 2 full-time jobs. I miss when I was doing middle school and even high school before that, getting to see the same kids every day. Like, you really built a relationship. I have relationships with, especially my 5th graders right now, because I've had some of them from the time they were in kindergarten, and getting to see them grow and mature, and in some cases go backwards maturity when I hit 5th grade. But it's an interesting experience to see them go from these little bitty kids, and the evolution. Like, I have one kid who is in 5th grade. He's like one of my favorite kids now. But if you had told me when he was in 2nd grade that he was going to be one of my favorite students, I would have called you like, he has older brothers. So on like the very first day, I'm gonna tell this is, I don't know if I should tell this in public. Very first day of 2nd grade, I put him and another kid in timeout chairs because they were just being wild. And he started joking that he was so far away from the group that he was in China. because he was so far away. And then he proceeded to tell the rest of this class of second graders, 7-year-olds, that babies are made in vagina.
Oh, I feel kindergarten cop all over. Oh, man.
Like, I don't know.
Oh,
What do you do with that? I don't.
I think you just sit there and you just hang your head and just go.
I did.
Why me?
I was about to explode with laughter, and now that's how he was, like, just he's still a little bit, but for the most part he's matured so much. He's one of my favorite kids now, and but I will never like forget that story.
He will never be, no matter how mature he gets, he will never go beyond that point.
No, it will not. It will not. And so, it's just, it's fun. I do love my job. It's just mentally.
Oh, I bet.
And honestly, what they don't tell you about teaching is like the trauma that you end up sharing with these kids. Like, learning about what's going on with them is heartbreaking.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's a lot. And just mentally, sometimes being at 2 schools right now is a lot. So, as much as I love it, I want to continue to somehow be involved. I think even if I were to do ball pythons full time, I'd go in and volunteer.
Oh, okay.
I'd do something. Even though I joke now with my students, they're like, "You get paid to be here." I'm like, "Do you think I would show up for free?"
Did you think I'm going to deal with your crap for nothing?
like,
I don't know how you do it, because my wife babysits and our nephews come over and they're just like, they're cute. I love them. They drive me up a freaking wall because they're just that rambunctious and destructive. And after being up there with them, like, because I'm laid off, so like I'm stuck at home with all of this. Like, after like be dealing with it for like 3 hours in the morning, I just look at my wife and I just shake my head and just wave my hand, and I either go down in here to the snake, or I go up to the man cave. I just can't take any more of this. I don't know. I told her, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you keep your sanity. It's like, I'm losing it. It's like, I gotta go.
That's the one thing I do like is I get a class for about 40 or 45 minutes, and then they're back to their regular teacher. So I'm like, all right, I can.
So you get kind of like a constant reset and a different. Okay.
Yeah, it feels like a factory sometimes of just come in, do the thing. Now you leave. Now another group comes in, do the thing, and it's very tiring. Tomorrow I will start at 7:40.
Okay.
And I will have 40-minute classes back to back until 11:25. So I'll have 5 classes back to back, and then I'll have an hour for lunch, and then I'll have 2 classes after that. So I will have 7 classes.
Wow. Have you ever taken any of your snakes to school to show the kids or anything like that? Or
I haven't. I had a teacher who we were talking about doing it. I've got to figure out though insurance, because there's there's so much. I think some people you may have to have. I don't whether it's the school policy or whether it's just best thing to have for your business. Just to have some sort of insurance.
In case like an owl would bite somebody.
Yeah, in case somebody gets bitten, which like the big girl that I showed you earlier, I could take her, and nobody's gonna get bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you never know. They're animals. Whenever people ask me, do they bite? I'm like, they got teeth.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. If it's got
And
teeth, it can bite.
I
So yeah.
the kids know that I do this, and they ask to see pictures all the time. Um,
Okay.
and um, I wouldn't be into this if it wasn't for teaching, because I got into reptiles because of doing that, having that show come to the school. So
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know if I
Exactly.
don't know if this would have happened if I hadn't taught summer school that year. And so that's just crazy. But I know one of the fifth grade teachers really wanted me to at least make a presentation or something to show the kids about the genetics, because apparently they study DNA in fifth grade now. Like,
What?
well, I know.
I think I was learning that. All right, now I really gotta think here. Was that? No, that was in high school.
Yeah,
I think
10th
we
grade.
started going over DNA stuff. That was in that classroom. Freshman, sophomore. I think that would have been my sophomore year.
Yeah, for me, I think it was like 10th grade biology.
Okay.
But they're already talking about, they know about chromosomes, and they know about like recessive and dominant genes. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, what?
Jeez.
Of course, I also watched kids do testing a few weeks ago, and third grade math, they were basically doing algebra. And
God.
but like, I look at this and I'm like, I don't know if this really means that these kids are going to be smarter than us. I hope it does, but I don't know. So
I like 3/4 of what I learned in school, and I hope this doesn't come back to bite me in the butt and one of my kids use this against me in the future. But 3/4 of what I learned, I don't use. The stuff that I thought that I would never use is the stuff that I do use. So it was kind of like a little bit backwards, like the genetics aspect, like in science class, going over the genes and recessive, the Punnett squares, all that stuff. Going through that, I thought there's no way in hell I'm going to be using any of this crap because I'm not going to be a scientist. Like I did not like school that much at all. So I just really just kind of thought, there's no point for me to even remotely remember this. Now, fast forwarding however many years to now, when I'm at family gatherings and I'm talking to family members about this stuff, a lot of times my stepmom, she'll look at me with this blank face and I'll be like, what's wrong? Like, is there something on my head, like in my hair? And she goes, do you hear yourself talk? I was like, yeah, well, why? She's like, I never thought I would hear you talk genetics and know what the hell you're talking about. She's like, I'm a nurse and I don't even know what you're talking about. It's like, all right. But it's something if I would have paid more attention to, I'd understand even better. But it's yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exotic car love says, come teach high school. Trust me, the stupidity is worse.
Oh, I know. Their brain, something happens, and I think it does start in like fifth grade. Although I think my fourth graders are starting it now, and I blame the hormones in food. But
I know where you're going with it.
They get to and then in middle school, and their brains. I saw a TikTok because I'm on teacher TikTok, and they said, I don't know if you ever heard of Montessori.
It sounds familiar.
I don't actually know that much about it, but it's all hands-on type stuff, and basically the founder of Montessori, she basically thought that for middle schoolers, they should just not really have school. They should just send them out to the garden to dig and destroy things for like basically the ages of like 12 to 14, and then maybe after that we could start trying to teach them again. And I think it's very telling that even this very renowned educator thinks that middle schoolers should just go out and dig in the dirt for like 2 years, and that would be more productive than.
I could see that. I gotta agree that like And I'm sure if I would go back in time and watch myself, I think, wow, I was a real, dumbass to say the least. Um, Funny, haha. I hope Dom doesn't care about me telling this story because I thought it was absolutely freaking hilarious. The other night, we're sitting upstairs eating tacos. All right. Finished up the one thing of soft shells that was already opened up, and there was a brand new pack of soft shell tacos sitting there on the table. And Dom's there looking at this. He's spinning it around, trying to open it. I'm just sitting there, like at first I thought he was just trying to find the end that was open. Well, after him spinning it around like for the fourth time, I stopped eating. I'm watching him, and he's that focused on this pack of soft shells. And I was like, "What in the hell are you trying to do, boy?" And he goes, "How do you open this?" My jaw hit the table, and I'm like, "What do you like, Dom? Come on, dude! Don't be beat by a pack of taco shells here." He goes, "But I don't know how you open it." It's like, oh my god! It's like it's like, and there, it's like, Dom. It's like, you're so freaking smart. Like, how, like. So I took it. He gave me the thing of tacos. I give it here once, and I grabbed the end, where you can easily see the dotted line where you're supposed to tear it, and I just like, like the light bulb went off. He goes, "Oh, I thought it was already opened." It's like, if it was already opened, you would have found the open end. It's only got two ends to open from, and it's just like. Oh, like I just sat there. I laughed hysterically at him, and it's like Tom was like, "I love you." It's like you never cease to find that one thing that just makes your old man laugh.
And like one day you know that the common sense is going to kick back in, and you're like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah. There's been several different times where like the common sense factor. Like it was this week. Kara went upstairs to get something, and she goes, "It's really hot upstairs." She goes, "I don't know why he thinks it's cold up there." And later on in the day, I went up there to get something. I thought, good God, like I started sweating the second I got up to the second floor. And I went into his room, and he had the heater running. Like he had this little portable heater running, and he wasn't even home. And I said to him, he got home. I was like, I turned it off. I told him, I was like, Tom, I was like, why the hell are you running the heater when you're not home? He goes, well, why wouldn't I? I was like, you're not here. Like, you're wasting electricity. It's like, it's not cheap anymore, dude.
You're like, and now you owe me this much for the power bill for the month.
He was sick sick there for like 2 weeks, and we have a wood stove for some of the heat that we use when it gets like wintertime. Normally we use the wood stove. But if if the temps don't justify using the wood stove, then we either use the electric baseboard heat, which I really try not to use because that's you just watch the freaking meter spin on that. But then we've got another heating unit that pumps warm air throughout the whole house. But he was sick, so he was really saying how he was always so cold, and he was running fever. So I was like, "Hey, fire up your baseboard heater. It's fine." Well, he never stopped using the baseboard heater once he started feeling good. He left it on during the day, and old dad got the electric bill that month. Then it was $400, and I was like, "What the hell?" Yeah, we had a little bit of a talk about the heater thing, and I guess he didn't realize that this little electric heater he has now that also just does not run for free. I like this exotic Carla. Newsflash: common sense isn't very common.
Yeah. I always say common sense is a flower that does not grow in everyone's garden.
Yes, that is a very, very true statement. But Dom's smart. Like I said, I mean, like I was telling you, he learned to play Metallica on the ukulele just by himself. Watching YouTube, maybe, I don't know. He plays his guitar pretty good. Never had any lessons, but by himself and whatever he's done on the internet. But it just, I don't know.
They will learn what they want to learn.
Yeah.
But if they don't want to learn it, then like, Lord help you.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Very good way to put it. Everybody, if nobody else in the chat has anything else that they want to ask Amelia, we're at almost a 3-hour live again. And you got to wake up early and deal with kids.
Can we have a 2-hour delay, please?
Are they calling for snow down there?
No,
okay.
It's been raining all day. And
okay, I know there was a big thing floating up through that looked like it was going to start to hit us up here in PA, but
yeah, it's my yard is a mud puddle, and it's going to be hovering right around 32 in the morning. So sometimes
you could.
They'll err on the side of caution, but I don't think so. We have not had anything. We need like something.
It's like I like wintertime. I enjoy my layoff as much as odd as that sounds, and as much of a slight financial stress as it puts us on. Like with me doing construction like I do, and the tight schedule I keep all year, like spring, summer, fall, into winter. I enjoy that 3-month break I normally get, but with temperatures hovering around like 50 and 60s, like during the day, it's just like, oh, I'm going to get called back and my winter break's going to get cut like massively short. It's like, please get cold. Please get cold. And plus with the baby, dude, like I was like, I'm hoping that they don't call me back till after the baby's here and after Kara's settled in and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But because I don't, and this sounds really bad, but I don't want to have to burn vacation again. Because when Hadley was born, I burned 2 weeks vacation. And then when I needed the vacation to do things that needed to be done, I didn't have it. And it was either you take it unpaid or you're screwed. So yeah. I'm hoping everything works out.
Yep.
All right. Looks like nobody else has any other questions, Amelia. So I want to thank you very much for coming on tonight. I greatly appreciate it. I had a blast. I hope you had fun as well. Make sure you hang on here just a minute here after we end this. Yeah, well, we're wrapping it up, bro. We're wrapping it up. I know I tried to keep it to the 2 hours, but you guys know how I get the freaking rant and rambling.
You invited someone else with ADD on for the week, so
squirrel. But
what was the question again?
I had a blast, Amelia. I'm really glad you came on because I miss seeing you in the chats because it seemed like you were there all the time. And then it seemed like you kind of disappeared for a little bit. So it was great to get to put a face to the name, get to talk to you a little bit, get to know you a little bit better. Everybody, what's that?
We were competing with House of the Dragon there for a bit, not going to lie. So.
Well, all right. I will admit, after my live, like that was the part of the reason why I started trying to cut it down to 2 hours was because House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
I paid the price one too many weekends with I'd go basically till 12 o'clock with the live.
Oh yeah.
And then this is really bad. Don't judge me, anybody. I would then go upstairs from here, make a big bowl of popcorn at 12 o'clock at night, and go up to the man cave, watch House of the Dragon, watch a little bit of their special features there that they had at the end of it. And then I'd go to bed, and I'd wake up at 5 o'clock that same day to, go to work, which did not really work very well. Only getting maybe 4 and 4, I'll say 4 hours of sleep tops. It's more like 3.5 if I watched the special features. So yeah, it was really, really rough. What did you think of House of the Dragon, though? I know ADD. But what did you think of it?
I I liked it. I loved the casting.
Yes.
And I honestly, I've liked it better than the original, than Game of Thrones a little bit so far. Just in like, I feel like I've gotten into it more.
I'm there with, I don't know. I think I like the characters. Like, it took several seasons for, like, I loved Game of Thrones from the start. Don't get me wrong, but it took me several seasons, I think, to become really attached to certain characters in that. Where House of the Dragon, like, right off the start, I mean, basically after that first episode, I was like, freaking Damon is badass. It's like, if I want to be anybody, it's that man right there.
I'm watching it and I'm like, this man just killed his wife, and yet I want all good things for him. What kind of power does Matt Smith have? Like, what is happening? And I named my my lavenders all have Targaryen names.
Oh, okay.
So the male lavender is Viserys, and female is Rhaenyra, and then I have a super mystic lavender that's Daenerys. So they all have.
See, good night, Jason. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, dude. I really appreciate it. Jay Slithers, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, definitely check the rerun on this one, bro. I'm saving I'm basically gonna do the same thing, but it's gonna be in my Xantic stuff. Like, I've got certain names that are saved for certain animals already. Like, I already know what Daenerys is gonna be. It's just a matter of producing said animal.
Yeah.
But my GHI Mojave, his name, like, right off the start, I named him Drogon because, like, he was black and he was just freaking awesome. So, but no, I loved House of the Dragon. I think that was. I'm actually, like, the way they ended it, I was just like, oh, I gotta wait a whole year.
What? That's like
is
2,
it 2
isn't
years?
it? I think it's 2
Oh, that's even worse. Why'd you tell me that? I thought I was gonna get more for this year.
Nope. Sorry.
That's sad. I can believe. See, that was like, I didn't get into Game of Thrones until later in the seasons, so I could, like, I just went out and I just bought, the Blu-rays and just binge watched everything up until I got caught up to whatever season we were on at that time.
Like, let's see, because I was in college when Game of Thrones started. Then when I started getting into it, wanting to get into it, I was living with my grandparents. And you cannot watch Game of Thrones living with your grandparents, okay? Like,
or children around.
Yeah, there's 0 privacy in that house. So, and you can't skip those scenes because they give you important plot points in the middle.
They do.
While there's 2 people going at it in the background. It's like, you can't
Yep.
just fast forward. It will not work. So, I watched the last few seasons, more of Game of Thrones than I ever did the earlier seasons. So,
okay. Well, it seemed like there were, after a certain point, they kind of got away from all the sexual stuff, and it became more.
Yeah, we finally
there's like that. There's one season where it's like, just none of it, no more sex. We're done with this. It's all fighting but everything before that, though, like, you couldn't go one episode.
Exactly.
It was
are you watching The Last of Us?
I haven't watched any of that yet. And I think part of it is because I can't, like, I won't, and this sounds really stupid and nerdy, but I can't picture the main character as anybody other than the Mandalorian. Like, even when I was watching the promos and just hearing the voice, and then they show what's his face?
The actor's name?
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, that's it. When they showed him, I don't know why I drew a blank on that. When they showed Pedro there, it's just like, No, it's like, dude, you're the Mandalorian. Like, where's your armor at, man? It's like, and
Why can I see your face?
yeah, it's like this isn't right. And I think that's just, I think, plus I'm not a big zombie movie person,
Not either.
and so I think it's like that perfect mix of everything. Part of me thinks I should go back, should go and watch it because everybody rants and raves about it. But at the same token, I know Mandalorian season 3 is going to be starting up here very shortly. So I've got a bunch of Star Wars series that are going to be popping up. I think I still have some Willow episodes to watch.
Oh, I gotta
I was
watch.
watching Willow, and that was really good. I don't know if the last episode I watched, if that was the end of it, or if that was the end of the season, or what. So I gotta wait and see if anything pops up this week. Aaron, hello. First time commenting here. I have a question. Once an ovulation is seen on a female, is it still necessarily to continue putting the male in? No. Once you see that ovulation, there is no need for that male to be anywhere near that female anymore because the fertilization has already taken place, dude. So you can let that male take a rest, or if he's going to another female, let him just have one less female to visit.
Yeah, and she probably won't walk after ovulating. I know there's I've heard some people saying a few, like it has happened for a few people, but it seems to be pretty rare that after they ovulate they'll let a male. Yeah. The pinstripe female, I never did see an ovulation on her, and I put the male in one day and they didn't lock. And I was like, oh, I guess she's gravid. 2 days later, she was sitting on eggs. I was like, I am so sorry that I put him in there to bother you. Like, I had no clue.
I've been fortunate in every female I've seen ovulate but one. But at the same, and the one that I didn't see the ovulation, it didn't catch me off guard about the eggs because I had palpated her and I felt the difference between the follicles and then after she had ovulated, because there's that difference between the feel of a follicle and the feel of a fertilized egg at that point.
Yeah.
So I felt that difference. So when she had shed, it's like, okay, that's the prelay shed. Start the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So that, because she had actually ovulated while I was up in the mountains. So, and I knew it was going to happen. But, of course, if it can happen, it will happen. Yep. But yeah. Now, the next thing, I got to figure out with the carpets here, because carpets, I can't find out when a carpet ovulates. I've heard one number of 25 millimeters. But yet, when I ask people that have worked with carpet pythons their whole time here in the industry, no one will tell me a size, because apparently nobody in carpet pythons uses an ultrasound. I'm apparently the only one.
We'll start writing it down, because
right now, the last time I checked her, she was at 28.1. And I thought, it's like, all right, well, if they ovulate at 25, she's more than good. But as I showed you guys before, that male's got his tail in that cave and she's in the cave. So either he's really bothering the hell out of her for no apparent reason, or the 25 millimeter number is not correct. So maybe once he leaves her alone, I'll pull her out and ultrasound her again. And that's a whole new freaking rodeo there.
Yeah.
Slithery, what's up? More Forge, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. All right, everybody. Amelia, again, thank you so much for coming on. We really went ADD on this last.
Especially the last hour, yeah.
Everybody, if you missed any of this because you had to watch the Super Bowl, hold on, let me put us up here on the screen. That way, people, if you guys just had to watch the Super Bowl, go back and rewatch it, please. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys all hit that like button. Definitely go follow Amelia on all of her social media platforms and check out her Morph Market. Links are all in the description down below. Make sure you guys check out our sponsors of this week's episode. give them a quick little shout out here. We got Nathan of Infinite Possible Pythons. Make sure you guys check him out, please. He's got a lot of killer stuff. Plus, if you have any branding needs, look him up and he will get you set up. Great guy to deal with, great prices and amazing product. So definitely check him out if you need branding needs or snakes or Chihuahua geckos. So hit him up. And of course, my brother Chris at S Reptilia, definitely check him out. Basically, Chris is a one-stop shop. If you've depending on, he's working so many different snake species, ball pythons, boas, blood pythons, colubrids. Trying to think, I always forget one. Boas, maybe I said boas. Anyway, Chris has got a whole bunch of stuff he's working with. Check him out. Check out his morph market. Links are in the description. If you need Coco to go or the chipper, he's the man to go to if you are in the Pennsylvania area. He's my supplier, and I highly recommend Coco to go. So definitely hit him up for that. And Amelia, hang out here one more minute after we end this. But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support. Next week, I don't know why I have to look. Next week is a solo. You guys got to stare at this ugly mug for a whole freaking live and listen to me jib jab and shoot the shit with all of you. Just because CARE's due on the 17th, so I didn't want to get a guest and have to cancel all that stuff. Even though I had people lined up to take control, to host for me, I didn't want to be a burden. So just figured we'll do a solo live, and hopefully she goes this week. So that way I don't have to worry about that, because on top of that live, let me pull up my calendar here. I've got a clutch due on the 24th of this month. And I told her that she got to get the baby out so that way we're home in time for the clutch to drop. I told her there's no options on that one. I got to be here when that clutch drops. That's my first shot at visual exantics. So I told her there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I got to be here. That didn't go over very well when I told her that, though, either. You can imagine the look.
Who's going to drop first, the baby or the eggs?
Yeah, it better be that baby. God, she was saying about being induced and stuff. I looked at her, I was like, you're not even at your due date yet. It's like, settle down, hon.
She's done. She's done.
Yeah, she is done. She's ready to. She's ready to be done with him at this point. But everybody, thank you so much for all the support. I greatly appreciate it. Amelia, I know I said it once, but thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it. I had a blast.
Thanks for having
it was my pleasure. It was absolutely a blast to have you on. I really mean that. It's great to be able to put a face to the name, get to know you a little bit better. I really enjoyed tonight. Everybody, again, thank you so much for all the love and support. Definitely make sure you guys check out this week's videos. You guys get to hear me go off on a rant for I don't even know how long the video is on Wednesday. It's probably like a 10-minute rant at least.
Ooh.
Yeah, like the one, I think it's my only rant video. So you guys get to see this guy that normally is calm, cool, and collected go off on a little slight rant. And then also with starting the Husbandry Pro series, I've also, we're dropping one of the Husbandry Pro video a week going over different aspects. So that will drop on Friday. So definitely make sure you guys check that out. If you're not using Husbandry Pro, click this link I just dropped or click the link in the description as well. And it gives you a free 30-day trial. Try it out. I guarantee you will not regret it. And you will want to start using the best reptile record keeping and tracking software on the market. Believe me on that. I absolutely love Husbandry Pro. Saves so much time. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Have a great, I would say rest of your weekend, but your weekend shot by this point. Have a good week. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Take care, everybody.